Finally starting to sound
It's clobbering time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
It's Clobberonimo!
Or thereabouts. Welcome, well, I was going to say congratulations. I'll say that later. Greetings, my friends. Welcome to Clobberin Times, issue number 620 on YouTube. Number 1,320 overall. Oh, forever for Clobberin Times. And Saturday night Star Trek 129. Let the wheeze begin.
Clobberonimo!
Yes, indeed. Greetings, clobbers, clobberonimos, clobberus,
clobberooskies. Stuff about the bang the rocks together.
Clobbers. Well, I was getting there.
You're a giant pile of rocks. Everybody in my private life, my nickname is Rock. That's so what? Banging the rocks together is really important.
Oh, well, you stopped it. You've ended it. I was about to do it, and you turned it off. So now I'm not doing it. How you like them apples, Charlie?
Don't you dare! Shin kicks! Shin kicks!
But you interrupted it. It's no good now. You've ruined it.
What?
Bang the rocks together, guys. There you go. You happy?
Oh, that was cheap. You're a cheapo. You're a cheapo.
Why would you say that before I do it? Why? Why? Everyone, do you think I should court-martial number one? You let me know. Give her some shin kicks.
Come on, everyone. Stick up for me here. It's usually my cue, is it not? The secret is to bang the rocks together. Whee! Okay. Right? Am I right?
That's fair enough. The secret's bang the rocks together, guys.
Whee!
There you go.
Clobberonimo!
I tell you what, I meant to start looking for me a new first officer if you can be all uppity and all insubordinate like that. What do you think? Woo! Now Lisa says she gave you a vote. So if Lisa says keep you, I guess we have to keep
Oh no! Simply Steve is sending me to the brig.
What?
It's
What?
terrible.
What? Oh no!
We're
Are
going
we
to the
having a
brig.
mutiny?
It's
Are we having a mutiny amongst us? Oh, welcome everybody, and welcome number
Lenrod would
one.
like
Good
to
to see
submit
you.
his application for first officer.
Well, Lenrod,
Your agonizer, please.
how dare you, Lenrod? Okay, I'll look. I'll look at it. Might get you on the bridge crew at least. Hello, everybody. Good to see you there. Welcome to a very disorganized start to Saturday Night Star Trek. But what else is new, right?
Well, I don't know. We got to keep it entertaining.
I'm just so glad to see you, everyone. The most wonderful first officer in the fleet is here with us. I love you. You're the best, and I'm so happy to be hanging with you tonight because we're going to have some fantastic fun, like we always do on Saturday Night Star Trek. Because of
Yeah,
you.
well,
Because of
I
you.
love being here. Love hanging
You're the
out with
best.
you.
You're the bestest ever.
My comics came today.
Oh, we can talk about those later or whenever if you want.
We can talk about those later, but everyone needs to know why I'm so excited and why I'm giddy.
Go ahead and tell them.
My early voyages came today, and I wouldn't even know about the early voyages if it weren't for Clobby. He introduced me to early voyages. Now I'm having additional dates with Christopher Pike, and it's glorious. These are like lost episodes. I'm having such a great time, and I've been waiting for them to come from Texas, a place called Lone Star Comics. And I cleared it with Clubby. I said, are these people legit? Is it all right? Because it's going to cost a lot of money to bring them to Canada. And he was like, oh, yeah, I know about Lone Star Comics. So go ahead, sweetheart. Everything will be okay. And so I ordered them and they came today. And you guys, I'm so excited. I just can't even handle it. Anyway, so that's what I was doing right up until about 5 to the hour when we start the show, which is 8 p.m. Mountain here for me. And so Clobby got the giddy version of Raquel.
I love that giddy version. I love every version. But I'm so happy for you. That is fantastic.
I love them so much, Clobby. They're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Eric says, Shooter gifted, wow, 10 clobbering times. Shooter, thank you so much, buddy.
Shoot! Pew, 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 pew.
I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you. A great shooter, folks. Appreciate that, man. Very, very kind of you.
And thank you to Chris Persia and to Eric and to everyone else who brought that to our attention. As you may or may not know, chat, we don't get to see that on this side of StreamYard. So that's a vital part of our show. And if there's any type of delay with regard to things that you put in our community or donating memberships and stuff like that, if there's any delay, I just want you to know that it's not because we're ignoring you. It's because StreamYard doesn't let us see that. So just want to thank the Wrenches for reporting that right away. And thank you so much, Shooter. You're such a wonderful friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Shooter. Appreciate you. You're too kind, buddy. Way to go. Okay, so what's going on here? I guess we'll start out. We'll get down to beeswax first. Any additional opening words you may have? Number one, please take the floor, take the helm, and say so.
Well, thank you very much. Well, first of all, I just want to say you're one of my best friends in the whole wide world, in real life, in my entire life. I love you so much, and I enjoy spending time with you. And so it's an honor and a pleasure to be here and to have the privilege to spend time with you. I love you very much. Looking forward to this evening. Folks, I write science fiction. I write episodic short story science fiction, and the corporations are not interested in it, despite the fact that I studied writing in university, that I'm an editor, an award-winning editor. They're not interested in it. They want activism and they want activists. And I don't write about activism, and I'm not an activist. I'm just a person who writes science fiction. And so because of that, I've had to use alternate channels for publishing my books. My original book, my first book, which is Science Fiction Tales, it is a 4-time Amazon bestseller in the short story category, thanks to the 735 Club, the Clobberers, thanks to Clobby, Mike Clobby Alonzo, and all of his friends in our extended community. And I'm so grateful for that. But I have another book coming out. and it's another book they're not interested in. And so 17 people from this community have stepped forward and said, we're going to get your book out there, and we're going to make sure that that happens for you. And so they told me to get a Patreon, and I did. And so I just want to reach out and thank them for their generosity, their support. They get to read the stories before anyone else. There's just really 17 very special people and their families supporting me as an independent author, and I really love them very much. So let's start off by thanking Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Pew Pew, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K, and my trusty dusty dog Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with the C and his whole marvelous family, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, JJ Cook, Dadman and the Dadman Clan, Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course little our very own Porthos, Little Lance, and Rob Altus. 17 remarkable people and their families who are trying to get real science fiction out there, not activism from activists. So I doff my cap to you. Thank you for everything. I am going to have a new story to you by tomorrow evening. I'm very excited about it. Other than that, I just want to say hail to the chat. Each and every one of you brings marvelous conversation each and every Saturday night. You make this feel like a mini Star Trek convention every single week. You are outstanding individuals. I can't wait to look at your reviews, to read your reviews, to laugh with you, to hear your thoughts and your feelings. It's going to be a great time. Thank you to all of the wrenches who showed up to enhance this community tonight. And I think that's it. I think we're ready to get it on. Let's do it.
Well, that is wonderful. And I'm just so glad everyone. Thank you all so much for all you do for number one. It's really appreciated by me. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Well, looks like we've got a great crowd as always. So what we will do is we'll just get down to beeswax right here, I think.
Booze.
Just a tad full of show notes and some shout outs, right? Show notes are as follows. Well, I will be hanging out at the great Mark D with the Seas channel tomorrow night. He's out there. He had a good time at a con today. I'm sure we'll see him later. Our chief engineer.
See the posters he's posted,
Yeah,
or
he's got all kind of cool
pictures
stuff
he's posted.
Yep, looking forward to that. I'll be hanging out at Sunday Night Geekery. Hopefully it'll be that and it won't turn into Sunday Night Eatery. But if it does, we'll cover it, sure. So so be it one way or the other, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be Sunday Night Geekery tomorrow night or Sunday Night Eatery. You decide. And I'll be at the Great J-Man's page tomorrow. My good buddy J-Man and our continuing mission to chronicle all the appearances of the Great Legion of Superheroes in, chronological order. So looking forward to that. And then I'll have a Monday Night Mark C Comics talk later on my own show after that. Not exactly sure what I'm doing yet, but it'll be something. And then just an announcement for August, which is coming up next week. Jack Kirby month returns as always, celebrating the great king of comics, the greatest creative force of the 20th century and all of comicdom, and the king of the medium. And as always, Clobbering Times celebrates the great Jack Kirby, the king of comics, and looking forward. We have a whole month full of, obviously we'll still do our Trek stuff and everything else, but a whole month full of celebrations for Jack. So
and don't forget that August, folks, I'm going to interrupt and get myself in trouble with the captain, but I don't care, because I also need to remind you that August is also Gene Roddenberry's birthday.
Yeah,
and
that's right, Gene Roddenberry.
And it's also Clobby's birthday.
And no one else's.
So Clobby's birthday is coming up. He will not do a birthday stream, but we're going to torture him anyways, and we're going to try and find ways of celebrating his birthday, because I know that you agree with me. I know all of you out there agree with me. I am so happy that this human being was born, that he owned a comic book shop, that he introduced me to all of these marvelous people, that he's introduced us to this beautiful world of comics, and not just as a reader. as somebody who studied publishing and the writers and the art and just everything that surrounds it. It's just been a marvelous trip. And this guy is just loyal and clever and just a beautiful person. So we got to get at him in August. It's his birthday, and now he's probably going to
No.
ask me for my agonizer. But you all have to get in on that pact with me to make sure that we celebrate Clubby in August as well.
I'm sorry to inform you folks that number one has had a bit of a malfunction of brain in, brain one is brain. Yeah, I don't know what happened to her, but
Brain, what is brain?
her brain malfunctioned. It actually is not my birthday in August, or in fact, let me give you a list of all the months that it's not my birthday: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So all 13 of those months are not my birthday. Eric K says, thank you. Oh, thank you, Eric K, for the super chat. Did they have enough candles in LA for that cake? No, because I don't have a birthday.
Yeah, right? Louisiana's going to sell out of candles on it.
Birthdays are for men, not rocks. So
no, you get a birthday too.
I don't have a birthday. I don't know where you get this weird notion, but anyway, that's all right. But I don't need one. I got you guys. Hey, I got you guys. What do you need a birthday for?
And we have you. Love you, honey.
You're all the best. Well, thank you. And well, let's see. So how about some shout outs? What do you think?
Let's do it, boss.
Let's do the shout outs for our wrenches who are here with us every night. Of course, the great Eric K, the bronze wrencher.
Amen, baby. Mwah, mwah.
The vindicator wrench of the Great White North, Chris Persia.
Beautiful show poster this evening.
Thank you,
making
buddy.
Those gorgeous advertisements for social media and using your social media to promote my best friend. I'm so grateful to you and love you very much. It's really cool, and beautiful stuff that you make. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you so much. Chris. It's just really amazing stuff. D. Bud Martin. Buddy, I don't know if he's here or not tonight, but he gets the shout out either way. We love the D Bud, the wrench of iron. And of course, Lord Thoth. I know he's here tonight. Hey, buddy, good to see you. I hope you and the wonderful, the God of wrenches himself, Lord Thoth. I hope you and the wonderful Lady Thoth and the doggy are doing well. Avon lives, and long live the Legion, buddy. We still, one of these days, we'll get that Great Darkness Saga review. One of these days.
Gotta do it.
We've got to do it.
Gotta do it.
I don't know if he stopped by tonight. He's he hurt himself a little bit. He's a little in pain, but but I had a great time hanging out with him last night.
What the heck happened to J-Man?
The great J-Man. He just broke his finger.
The finger break. Yeah, the finger break. Yeah, not good. Not good.
J-Man, hope you're feeling better, buddy, wherever you are out there. My partner in crime on Earth B, fellow Legionnaire of your feud extraordinaire and the wrench without fear. We love the J-Man.
We do, Jay.
I don't know where this guy is, but he better show up. I'm sorry, I must send out a search party for him. Our master of the Glamoni, Hungry Boy, and of course, comic artist extraordinaire.
He did the cover of my book. It's a painting.
He did
guy
indeed.
Gosh darn it, that guy is talented. Very kind man.
Gosh darn it is. Stephen, I've seen Kal-El lately, but I know he's out there somewhere. He's not a big fan of that show, but he's out there. Big wishes, best wishes out to our great buddy Kal-El. I hope he's doing well, man. And of course, the great Maddie's daddy's here tonight. He lives in me near Thor in Vegas. And of course, our good buddy, the old rascal himself, Fanty Outsider. Fanty, I hope you enjoyed the review we did for you last night, buddy. All for you, man. And of course, Clobbering Time's own music meister, Maximum Redstone.
Maximum Redstone. Okay,
Yep.
I need to let everyone in the chat know that Max checked in with me. He's okay. His mom and his sister are checking in on him and helping him to recover. But folks, he's just in too much pain tonight to be, texting or sitting up in bed or doing any of that stuff. So
That's fine.
He's going to rest for tonight, but he sends his best wishes. And I told him that the 735 Club, that all of the clobberers, the clobberettes and the clobberooskies are sending their love and their prayers and their support to him.
Oh, good. Yes, absolutely. Max, if you're hearing this, buddy, by any chance, we love you, man. Just feel better. Don't worry about anything. We know you're out there with us, and we know you're on the team, and the team sends its love and hope you feel better, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see up in here. Now we can start our shout outs to our fantastic chat, because that's important to us though. If you're new to the show, by the way, if you're lurking out there, we thank you so much. We really appreciate our lurkers. We really appreciate you, and thank you for doing that. Please, if you would like and subscribe, I would appreciate that as well if you haven't already. So, but either way, thank you so much for being here. And if you're watching on a download or a rewatch or whatever you want to call that, again, cannot thank you enough. We don't thank you nearly enough as we should. So, or I don't, and I'm derelict in that sometimes, but really, really appreciate you. So let's do some our shout outs, and then we'll get down to our reviews, folks. Thank you. Oh, your Muslim uncle. Thank you, buddy. Well, thanks for that shout out. Your Muslim uncle. Good to see you, brother. Thank you.
Read it. It's funny.
Happy birthday to no one in particular. That's good, because I don't know anyone but a birthday right now. Right? Thank you, buddy. Let's see here. FKHC 2005. All right, my friend. I know who you are.
Good evening.
Raymond and Sandra Feliciano are here tonight with us. Hey, Sandra.
You
hey,
know
Raymond.
what that means? King
Yes.
Dolphin TV.
In color. Let's see here. The aforementioned shooter. What's up, shooter? Good to see you, buddy. Bubba Doom 1. Hey, buddy.
Bubba Doom.
Goodness. Hey. Joseph Dredd. Here comes the judge. Simply Steve-O. What's up? Lemon Pie.
I would love to say hello to everyone, but I'm going to go on mute for a little while because there seems to be a dog chorus happening right in front of my home.
I can't even hear it. But Gwagdar's here though.
Gwagnar.
Classic Comics. Good to see you, buddy. Linrod, hey there. Admiral Tig, Admiral on the bridge. Let's see. Parker Luck, hey there. Paul Listro, hello. Zathras, what's up, Zathras? Lisa, lovely Lisa, good to see you, Lisa. Claude Solling, hello there, my friend. Anonymous Gamer, welcome. DJ Ronnie D. Let's see it. Mark Seth, hey there. Sean Cutter from Mars. Dadman Walking and the Dadman Clan. Hey, buddy, good to see you. And they call him Scuba Pete. He's the king of the Ramba Beach when he plays the maracas. He goes chick chick boom, chick chick boom. And thank you for that, Scuba Pete. Thank you. Oh man, you're too kind, buddy. Appreciate you for that super chat. Very nice of you, buddy. I appreciate you. He says, a very merry unbirthday to me, to you. And look, it's not even August yet, which is the month that my birthday does not occur in, by the way. So, but thank you. Thanks, Scooby. Appreciate you, buddy.
Scuba Pete! And Leslie. Okay, I'm going to go back onto quiet mode because there's a very loud dog in front of my house.
I can't hear it. None of them can hear it. Enigmatic Drop Bear. ED, good to see you, my friend. Victor Fontaine. Hey there, Victor. The AI show. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Mighty Orbots. Hey there. That's Amanda Bear. Always good to see you, old friend. JT Kirk. What's up, buddy? Joe Dog. Hey, Dalek 451. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Anyone else that pops in? If I haven't, I think I got everyone. I hope I did, but that seems to be it for now. Anyone else pops in, of course, will be Julie. Oh, there, like for example, Brian Hepburn. Hey, Brian. All right, my friend. Good to see you. Always good to see all of you. So great to have you all here with us tonight. So, I guess we'll start getting into our review mode because we've been
getting you see Vic?
Oh yeah, Vic Fontaine. I shouted him out.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I got him. No, look,
loud dogs. To catch him. They're distracting.
They are. Doggies are doggies.
They're having a howling good time here. It's ridiculous.
Well, I can't hear them. So, all right. Well, folks, basically, we always like to do a slight recap for anyone who's new to the show. We get new people all the time. What we do basically here on Saturday Night Star Trek is, well, we review Star Trek. Not to put too fine a point on it, specifically real Star Trek only, not corporate sludge with the name of Star Trek on it. Actually legitimate Star Trek, which means 1966 through 2005. The 735 Club, as dubbed by my wonderful first officer. 75 installments of real deal Star Trek. Now, we, of course, in the beginning, at the very outset of 2021, undertook this Herculean, that I mispronounced, task, starting with the original series, continue into the animated series, then, of course, the original crew films, Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek TNG films, then, of course, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which we just finished a couple of weeks ago, and now, it is time. We are on Star Trek Voyager. What we usually do is, throughout the course of a season, we review, after we get the season started with a pilot and all that good stuff, we review 4 episodes at a clip throughout the season, and that was what we will be doing tonight. 4 episodes. We're very early in season 3, and so we have a reference book that we recommend, and we don't necessarily use it for our, for our synopsis, just so we flow better by just giving a very basic synopsis. But there's a book out there recommended, or a couple of them, called the Star Trek Voyager Companion. What I'm going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about them, then we're going to get started. I will turn over the helm to my wonderful first officer, Commander R.M. Briggs. She'll tell you a little bit about that. Then we'll get rolling on the episodes.
Well, thank you so much, Captain. Yeah, folks, there is a lot of stuff online that is written about Star Trek that's just not true. To the point that some people are adamant that factoids are facts. And so here in this place, you're not going to find a lot of stuff coming from Memory Alpha. It's now a cesspool due to the filth fans. IMDb is almost always inaccurate, incorrect. I mean, sometimes up to 80-90% of the stuff that I read on there about episodes is complete and utter shite. And Wikipedia is also user generated. So we like to recommend books that are vetted, that are original source material. So you can get the inside scoop. You can find out the real stuff, not just, wishful thinking from memoirs and a bunch of clips and things that people have put on the internet from comic conventions or science conventions or VIPs and things like that. So we really like Star Trek Voyager Companion. This is a great book. It's a little out of my price range, but if you can get a hold of this one, this is a great book. This is where you should be getting your information about Star Trek. Please do not use the user-generated websites. It's just a dump of trivia that's not even true most of the time. And then there's another book called Star Trek Voyager: A Celebration. This is also a good book where you can get great information. This one doesn't do an episode by episode. What it does is I think it does like a little summary for every bunch of episodes that you go through. Both these books are great. I highly recommend both of these books. I've looked at them. I've looked at hundreds of reviews of them. I've done the skim through them. So if you want to know more about Star Trek, go ahead and buy these books. Like the boss said, we're not going to be using these on the show because they're not conducive to a podcast. Instead, we're going to be reading a little bit from Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is incorrect, but we're just going to use the summary. And when it is incorrect, it's sort of funny, and we make fun of it and correct it immediately. And then we get on to the episode. And that's really important because this show is completely organic. It's like a mini Star Trek convention every week. Clobby and I don't talk about the episodes. We don't talk about our reviews, what we're going to grade the episodes. We don't pre-read anything. We don't even discuss it with anyone. And that keeps what happens here really fresh and really, really fun. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to read a little bit from Wikipedia. Then he and I are going to put our minds together and discuss it. I'll do a bit of notes. And then you know what we do? We put it to the chat, and the chat gets fully involved. We put everything they say up on the marquee, and we talk about it. And it's a true conversation amongst friends, cherished friends. And it's quite an honor. So let's do it. Let's get this show on the road.
All right, everybody. First episode of the night is Eye of the Needle.
Eye of the Needle.
Right? There we go.
Yes, it sure is. Eye of the Needle is season 1, episode 6. It's production code 107. I give the production code in case you're following along in one of the books, and also because you should not fret or fear if your numbers are not lining up. With the advent of streaming, some of the numbers are off. So we just go by the official numbers and then we give the production code. This episode first aired on February 20th, 1995. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from Wikipedia. Let's do it! Voyager detects the signs of a wormhole and changes course to investigate in the hope that it can be used to shorten Voyager's journey to Earth. To the crew's disappointment, it is a decaying micro wormhole. No, it's not. Whose aperture is only about 30 centimeters or 12 inches in diameter. Yeah, that's not microscopic. Anyway, nevertheless, Captain Janeway suspects that it could be used to transmit a message to the Alpha Quadrant and launches a microprobe into the wormhole to determine where it exits. The probe gets stuck in gravitational eddies and is unable to pass further. Meanwhile, a vessel at the other end of the wormhole is investigating and making scans of the probe. The crew of Voyager detect the scans and make contact using the probe as a communications relay. The vessel identifies itself as a Romulan ship in the Alpha Quadrant. Janeway asks the Romulan captain, Telek Ramor, to relay messages from the crew to their families and Starfleet. At first he refuses, but relents after Janeway asks him about his own family, who are far away on Romulus. Before long, Chief Engineer Torres suggests to Janeway that the probe could be used as a relay not only for communications, but for transporting the crew directly back to the Alpha Quadrant. Tests are conducted and all found successful. The Romulan captain volunteers to transport to Voyager to confirm the safety of transporting a life form and will arrange for a support vessel to rendezvous and accommodate the Voyager crew. Then he is then successfully transported to Voyager. It is discovered that Ramor is 20 years from the past. The micro wormhole, it's not a micro wormhole. You would need through space and time, the crew are unable to transport back to the Alpha Quadrant for fear of altering history. You can't alter history. Similarly, the Romulan cannot try to prevent Voyager's fate before it occurs without also altering events. Instead, they decide that Ramor will deliver the messages in 20 years after Voyager has left the Alpha Quadrant, thus preserving the timeline.
6, hey 6, I love you.
6,
Thank
hey
you for
baby.
that, 6, lovely 6 is here. Thank you. For
After Ramor is beamed back to his ship,
appreciate you.
Chief of Security Tuvok reveals that upon researching the computer's databanks, he has discovered that Ramor died 4 years before Voyager left the Alpha Quadrant. The crew hopes that Ramor arranged for someone to deliver them after his death, but are left with no way of knowing for certain.
That's right. Yeah.
And that is all the fine folks at Wikipedia contributed to a group article on Eye of a Needle. What did you think of this episode, boss?
I really liked this episode. I
Yeah, me
enjoyed
too.
it. I thought, my boy Vaughn Armstrong, come on, man. I love me some Vaughn Armstrong. He's great at aliens. Of course, he's Admiral Forrest. I love that guy. He's always so good. But I found this to be a very touching, a very, again, remember, I'm not a scientist, so I can like stuff that doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense to some of the more sciencey bits, I don't care if it's a compelling story and entertaining and is imaginative. And I found it to be all of that. And it was very, again, it's very early on in the trip. And this is our first really big disappointment as far as trying to get back. I thought it was really handled very well as drama. If I'm not mistaken, weren't we spared Neelix in this, or is it no Neelix? I think at all, right?
I wrote that in yelling all caps in my notes.
Yay! So I found this to be a very entertaining, very heartfelt episode that was trying to be what Star Trek should be. Yes, it's if you want to say it's some kind of a bit of a convenient plot, I don't mind that. It's they're trying to solve a problem that's science fiction-y. For once, they're not running across a race and getting into a fight with them like they do so much on the show. Different stuff like that. They're just a chance to go home. It doesn't quite work out. And at the end there, especially, I don't care about the time screw up. I don't mind time travel messing around with a little bit of screw up here and there, as long as Sander.
Hey, Sander.
If it fits, makes the plot somewhat intriguing, and it was really I really felt for this Romulan character, and I love the fact even though this was a Romulan, they didn't just portray them as your stereotypical Romulan. He's a scientist, and he has he had heart and character, and he wasn't just I was kept expecting him because you got that harsh tone that Vaughn Armstrong to be just kind of a bit harsh, and yet the way Janeway communicates and connects with him and really is really good stuff, really good Star Trek stuff. Like they're just beings connecting with each other, or there's something that they do have in common.
Yep.
And so I really, really like this episode a lot.
Me too. Yeah, I think
So,
I think it's good. There are a couple of things that I did, a couple of things in the episode that made me deduct some marks from this, but I am quite impressed with the writing of Bill Dial here. Although Jerry Taylor should get to work and do the job of editing. So here we go. Harry says that the wormhole is virtually microscopic, but then says it's 30 centimeters in diameter. This reveals that the writers did not do their homework. That is a full ruler in Canada, or roughly a foot in the United States. Don't use centimeters unless you take the time to look it up. The wormhole is not microscopic. It's about the size of a large pizza. So, if you're writing science fiction, you have to make sure that you go and check and double check.
Fair enough.
Toddler doctor overnight. So here I'm talking about Kes. Kes becomes a doctor overnight. She's replaced the ship's botanist and is now an interdimensional telepath. Kes is a genius, learning how to be a general practitioner, gynecologist, a surgeon, etc., for multiple species, and she's doing it all without any instruction. So she's just learning from PADS, PADDS. It's quite absurd. I find it incredibly annoying, especially because she's a toddler. Nice storyline about how to treat AI and personhood. This will become a reoccurring theme that gets explored in Voyager. It's one of the reasons why I like Voyager. This is futurism. Like it or not, folks, this isn't science fiction. This is science future. We are going to have to deal with when we are going to decide what constitutes sentience and what constitutes personhood. So keeping that dialogue going within these stories due to Robert Picardo is just, it's wonderful.
Good point.
I don't like the timey-wimey stuff, but it doesn't detract too much, because I think that there's a great deal of fakery going on too. Astrophysics and physicists, their conceptualization of time and being able to use light and being able to use telescopes to look billions of years into the past is a very complicated subject to unpack. It's not something you can Google, okay? And so because of that, and they don't focus on it, and they don't put a bunch of techno babble around it, they don't package it in techno babble, I'm going to give it a full pass. To me, this becomes like The Guardian of Forever. You touched upon it. We've got a touch of science fantasy going on here. All eyes would glaze over if you tried to explain the timey-wimey stuff anyways. So it's super good. I really like it. And I wrote
entertaining,
right.
Good.
And then I wrote in yelling all caps, no Neelix, with an exclamation point. But then I underlined it 2 times very heavily. So like super aggressively. This is a great episode. This is what I want from Star Trek. This is why when other people are like, oh, DS9 is so good. No, like season 7 is unbearable. It shouldn't even exist. And so it's very nice to be back into the freshness of folks trying to write actual science fiction. And Bill Dial has written for Star Trek before. And if my memory serves me correctly, I do like Bill Dial's stories. I do like them because he does science fiction. He did need a little bit of help from his editor here to make sure that he got some of his scientific points right. But he gives way to science fantasy when he loses his expertise, and that's perfectly okay. You don't have to be an astrophysicist to write about this kind of thing. You just gently give it way, and that's what he's done here. So good stuff. Impressive, most enjoyable.
Absolutely. And like I said, I don't mind the occasional slip into science fantasy if it's very entertaining. I don't think it's out of bounds for Star Trek to do it because it's done it once in a while when it's still very good. And this one carries a lot of emotional impact, and that's what's it's still it talks of very interesting ideas and very heartfelt, imaginative moments and emotions in this episode. I really, really like it. So, what is your rating of Eye of the Needle?
Eye of the Needle feels like a short story turned into a teleplay, so it has a restorative feeling. This is what science fiction is supposed to be about. Really, really good storytelling that's turned into celluloid. And folks need to understand that that's actually the academic perspective and the academic reality of science fiction. That's been the relationship with the public. You have these marvelous science fiction stories. Most science fiction fans don't read science fiction. Instead, they wait with bated breath until something becomes celluloid, and then they just eat it up. They love, love, love it. And so this is done perfectly here to great effect. There are some mistakes here that I blame on Jerry Taylor. I think this is a television show. It doesn't get much better than this as far as science fiction, science fantasy on TV goes. And it deserves a very, very safe and well-earned A-.
Well, it's the same exact rating. I gave it an A- too. I was allowing for, just allowing a little bit for some things that may have done a bit slicker. Although I'd almost take the A- off and let it have. You know what? I'm taking everyone witness this. I'm taking the minus off and giving it a straight A because I just realized again, no Neelix, yay! That doesn't happen very often, folks. Because I'd forgotten which of these 4 episodes was the no Neelix bonus, but that was it, right? That was the no Neelix bonus, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take that minus off. Full A for no Neelix. That's just not.
You know what? I'm gonna do the same thing.
Just for
I'm
old time's
erasing
sake.
my minus. That's it. Hear this, folks? I've erased my minus. This did deserve an A.
Yeah,
I'm being too tough.
It's very entertaining and has a great heart to it.
It
and
does.
There's no freaking Neelix.
And even having to unpack how they transitioned from science fiction to science fantasy and it wasn't forced without a boatload of technobabble. Even just saying that out loud, I realized it does deserve a little bit more, right? Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, because it has a great heart to it. And plus, we got my buddy Vaughn, man. I love Vaughn Armstrong. Great actor.
Yes.
I miss Admiral Forrest, man. I'm crying now. Now, anyway. Hey, Jill.
Hey, good evening, Jill.
Hey, Jilly, good to see you. Okay, so, all right, everyone. Hey, come forward now with your any review you may have, and words you may have about Eye of the Needle. Try to keep it around the 5 range if you could possibly do that for me. I would be appreciated. I'd be your best buddy. And our buddy Michael Beacom he may join us later, but he has not arrived yet. So I've got his reviews that he sent me. Let me go ahead and I'll start with his. Hang on, I know I got it somewhere. Bob. Hang on, Michael, I got you somewhere, partner. Well, I had him. Crap. When did you send those to me? I know I have them here somewhere. They were sent to me. Okay. All right. So here we go from Michael Beacom on Eye of the Needle. All right, here we go. He says C. It would be lower, but compared to the last season of DS9, even attempted gobbledygook science feels more like science fiction that I am used to. Looks like transporters are going to be magic again as they whisk a person across time and space. I need at least an attempted explanation on how someone could be instantaneously transported across the galaxy, even a crappy one. I think they did it, though. I mean, I'm not going to get into it. We won't debate anybody's reviews, but I think they did explain it. Anyway, and how in the world is the Romulan allowing himself to be beamed anywhere by the Federation? He's Vaughn Armstrong. He knows what he's doing. I'm teasing Michael. This is
He's
utterly
also a scientist who's been in extreme isolation for
yeah,
7 months and even missed the birth of his own child. So this is a particularly curious person.
right.
Yeah,
Janeway reached him. She got to him. You
she did.
know. This is utterly inconsistent with the known Romulan Federation relations. Well, Romulans are people too. Why? We may not be at war, but we are not bosom buddies. Re-delivering message 20 years ago. Oh, 20 years later. Re-delivering message 20 years later. Too bad we don't have someone with a starship who could leave a radio beacon transmitting 20 light years from the starbase or something. Or maybe he just didn't think that was going to happen. But that's okay. Thank you, Michael. He might show up later. We're not sure if
That's
Michael.
a very good point, though.
Oh yeah, not everyone thinks of everything, buddy. But I hear you.
Yeah.
Zathra says B. Neelix was sent back to meet the Romulans. They sent him back with the threat to go to war if Neelix is allowed into the Alpha Quadrant. But the Romulans were okay with sending him to the Klingons. I like it. Good job. The great Lord Thoth says B. Okay, my first non-D for Voyager.
Yeah.
There are very few B's for this series. I'll be nice to this time. What? A good Romy? Perfect. We
Yeah.
need more Romulans in STEM.
We do.
Nice. Simply
We
C
do.
says, let's see. Simply C says, B rating, alt title. All right, no Neelix. Remor was a too little too late MacGuffin, but still trying to be a helpful instead of typical Romulan. Kess fleshed out as a genius now, still annoying. You guys say what you want about Kess, and I don't always disagree, but my God, she's better than Neelix. I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me. And not just the obvious reason that at least she's cutable, but anyway, Linrod says B+. Excuse me. Raptor Jesus Velocichrist. Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but I like it.
Oh my God.
Another time travel episode, really? I'm not so much called. I don't know if it's time travel, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. Well, at least the characters themselves aren't violating their own rules, unlike the writers. Oh, gotcha. Cutting them there. I'm enjoying the Doctor becoming a real boy. His interactions with Kess have been very enjoyable, and his growth, yes, indeed, his growth as a being is pretty cool to watch. I think we all agree with that. Everyone really enjoys Herr Doctor. Most of the show was good, but the ending was such a downer. Yeah, but yeah, pretty sad. First, the guy is from 20 years in the past, so no go home there. But at least they can get their messages out, right? Hang on, find your next one. Noper. Not allowed. Old Tuvok has to ruin it all by mentioning that the guy dies early. Why did that have to be in there? It's such a massive downer end to what was otherwise a decent episode. Well, I don't know. There have been somber endings on Real Trek before, too. They happen, man. You got to have a somber one every now and then, my buddy, but I understand.
I just want to say, too, like, I'm not an astrophysicist and I'm not a physicist, but I do know that the James Webb telescope, the space telescope, so the JWST, when it looks back into those other galaxies, when it's looking that far back, it's looking back billions of years in our history. And there are people who study galaxies who are looking back on that history. And so you can't change the past. But I do think that it can be kind of dangerous for the average viewer to sort of pretend like they understand the physics involved here. Because, what Star Trek is proposing is that you can break the speed of light. But it also sort of proposes this warp bubble that you could put around a ship. And so I think that there has to be a breaking point between what is plausible and what is implausible and what we're going to be incredulous about. And so when they're sending him as light or as matter from one place to another here, I really don't think that it's that big of a stretch if you already believe in that, warp bubble technology, or you believe we're going to break the speed of light. Because of course science now is, thinking of transhumanism, because you can project light at the speed of light, right? But time is involved there. So I wouldn't be, I don't know, I hesitate to be too hard on this episode, because I do think that it's a good rendering of it. I'm not an astrophysicist, and I don't pretend to be one through Google. I think that they do a pretty decent job here. This is just a television show, and it's like, what,
Yeah,
30, 40 minutes?
we were so brutal to TNG and DS9. Sometimes I think we can be a little over. I mean, sometimes something. In other words, if the entertainment, and again, not saying everyone should agree with us, if the entertainment value does kind of trump some of the other, maybe problems you have with an episode, I never really nitpick that much unless it's like really glaring screw ups or glaring things that make you go, "Oh my God, really?" Like some crazy time stuff or here. Once in a while, if an episode's really, and they have a goofy element here and there, but it's really heartfelt, very well written, imaginative, if not necessarily 100% like on point to reality, I'll give it some slack a lot of times, and I think it's important to do that sometimes. Cut it some slack if you were entertained. Now, if you weren't, you thought it sucked, then there you go. Fair enough. Of course.
And scientists don't think that, the most scientists, there's one scientist who takes objection with it, but most of the leading scientists believe we will develop that it is plausible to develop that warp bubble technology, but the rest of them don't believe we're going to break the speed of light. So when you're watching any Star Trek, it's really important that you also suspend disbelief in some cases, and you can do it in an intelligent way. It's not always called for, but sometimes it is. And Clobby and I like to use the example of the Guardian of Forever.
Yep.
The Guardian of Forever is conceptualized as something with no gobbledygook surrounding it. There's no balderdash. There's no baffling people with BS. What it is a superior life form capable of doing superior things that we cannot conceive of yet. And think about your great grandmother 200 years ago. Imagine what it would be like for her even 150 years ago to see a microwave and to watch a microwave work. So I think that people have to slow down, because it's not that it's always foolish, that it's always anti-intellectual. Because if you're watching Star Trek and you already believe this stuff, it could be argued that anyone watching it would be enacting something anti-intellectual, because so many people are skeptical of the technology. So it's okay to give way. It's okay to suspend disbelief, and it's okay when it's well wrought. The problem is that it has to be well wrought.
Right, but it's a TV show, and if it got you on any emotional level and entertained you in any kind of way, you can still, by all means, we're still going to point out things that whatever issues or problems that there are, but still, also you have to give it slack too. In other words, you can go, yeah, this, that, and the other. These are kind of hokey, but did it entertain you? Did they do a good job? Were they compelling? I mean, the level that Sitting on the Edge of Fred is so brilliantly entertaining. You're just willing to go, whatever, man. They got there, they did what they were doing, and it was amazing. This is nowhere near that level, something like this, but I think it was compelling and had a good heart to it. And if you could tell me of an interesting story where the characters are not just screwing around being annoying like they did so often on those last couple of seasons of DS9, if this is a get in, get out short story that's dealing with a science problem, no matter how unscientific you make it think it is, or how unrealistic you may think it is, but it's dealing with that rather than a bunch of soap opera drama, in an interesting and fairly intelligent and a heartfelt way, I'm going to give it some passes sometimes if it's an entertaining episode.
Yeah.
Just me. It is TV. But anyway, everyone's different. But my question here is, JT Kirk, 9 of 10. What's this all about?
9 out of 10. That's his grade.
9 out of 10. Okay.
That's his grade.
That's right.
But
No letters. Ooh.
before
I'm
we
just
go
kidding.
any further, I just want to say, I'm going to say this very quickly. To me, as a person who has been to university for multiple years and even attended graduate school, and I have a master's degree in technology and communications, even I think to myself when they're talking about that James Webb telescope, and that the person who studies galaxies, the one scientist who is currently studying galaxies, looking back billions of years, that's a pretty deep thing to wrap your head around. So it's enough to say you can't change the past from the future because it's traveling. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to touch it. I just want to encourage people to stay humble and to stay true. Don't just read stuff on social media and then say to yourself, oh, that's dumb, or this or that or the other. You can't Google your way into being a physicist or an astrophysicist. These are very complicated concepts, and you have to take a leap of faith and believe in Star Trek to even believe that it has warp drive. So let's exactly what Clobby just said. If they're being dumb and people are popping in and out of the Negaverse in DS9, and you're like, this is ridiculous, and why do they keep riding Kira like the town bicycle? That's one thing. But when you encounter someone who's actually trying to tell a science fiction, science fantasy story, it's okay for you to enjoy it. It's okay. You don't have to pretend that you went to university for 9 years to study astrophysics, because I know you didn't. Anyway, go ahead, boss.
I did study Astro City for 20-something years. No, what threw me off, JT, is everyone puts like one of whatever for their number for not everyone, and then they put their rating later next to it. So my first thought, like a dummy, was 9 of 10. Where are the other 8? So I mean, 9 or whatever. I mean 8. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. So that's what I was confused that you're the only one that does that. So don't worry about it. It's fine though, buddy. Just saying, I was thrown off a little bit. He says, "Oh, hello, science." He gives it a 9 out of 10. Oh, hello, science fiction. Good to see you again. Right. Not perfect, but perfectly rewatchable. Yeah, absolutely. I personally would rather transport 20 years in the past, 2003, than take the 70,000 light year plus journey. Thank you, JT Kirk. I'm with you there, partner. Wagner says B plus. Good episode, but aired way too early in this show's run. This would have been better placed in a later season once Voyager had been trying to get home for a while. Interesting. For example, Janeway's comment about the good they have done would have more weight if they had been in the Delta Quadrant more than a couple of months and we had seen more of their adventures. Okay, that's a fair cop. I hear you, Gwagnar. And then Gwag continues to say, no, Neelix makes an already good episode that much better. Boy, howdy. I'm with you there on FM, brother. Shooter
And just
says,
further to the comments that are happening in the chat, I just want to remind everyone who fancies themselves this, budding scientist, or you think that this show is beneath you or whatever. I just want to remind you that one of the biggest fans of Star Trek in all of history was Stephen Hawking and the folks at NASA. And there are a lot of folks at NASA, and including, not including, but additionally, Cooper, who brought you the cell phone that you are currently carrying and are probably watching our program with. So it's not that dumb of a show. It's okay to suspend disbelief. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Claudia.
Shooter says B, a wormhole, how unique. I had the unique experience of pausing this app on the first scene with Cass and was shocked shocked that new wig. Oh, shocked at that new wig. Sorry. Shivers, holographic lives matter, or HLM. Okay.
Yeah, the new wig's bad.
Who's on the other side? It's a Romulan. Aw. Hopefully he passes the message, or wait. Oh, wait. He died. Oh, well. Better luck next time. Not the most thrilling episode with time travel. Not bad. All right. Well, thank you so much, Shooter. Appreciate you. Jill says, A plus. I enjoyed the discovery of the wormhole and its potential, first as a message relay system and subsequent outcomes altogether. The Technobabble was an absolute joy from beginning to end. There.
That's great.
Yeah. I enjoy Kess mostly only when she works on medicine with the doctor, and Neelix is nowhere to be found as we are treated to, along with continuing the doctor's character arc of gaining autonomy. Now, I want to chime in there with you a little bit there, Jill, as well. I think when Kess is very useful when with the doctor, they're a perfect, I think they're a perfect tandem together to get his character jump started, and she's used very well in that respect. She's this innocent being that's very new to life, but still very serene, very calm, and he's learning so much about being a living being from a being that hasn't lived very long. It's pretty interesting. I like that stuff. They work well together, and that's why I don't really hate Kess like a lot of people do. So when you catch a Romulan on his own, sometimes you have a good time. This was my favorite episode of the night, and any review would just be a sequence of all the scenes that made it a classic.
What a lovely thing to say.
And of course, Vaughn Armstrong. Another lady chimes in, and Lisa says, A, thoroughly enjoyable. Plot A was plausible, and the yearning to connect with loved ones. Plot B, viewing Doctor as another life form on the advent of AI, gave me the chills. Harder to write positive. Yes, I'm with you there. The great Eric K says, B, finally a much better episode. Yeah. So is Harry Kim, the science officer now. Finally feeling like Trek again. Janeway is finally not the dumbest captain to ever command his ship.
I love you, Eric. I love you, baby.
Admiral Teague, Admiral on the bridge, she says, I give B+. Maybe because I'm always in such a good mood after I hear that great Jerry Goldsmith theme. It is great. I'm with you there. I'm to get me ready for action and adventure in the final frontier. Peak Neelix. Yes, it is one of his finer performances, isn't it? You got to say, Neelix really knocks it out of the park in this one. And they call him Scuba Pete, says B+. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, except for getting your probe stuck in a gravitational eddy. Dude, what is wrong with you? Damn it.
Captain Infinity, I agree. You cannot change history.
Senator Hammerslike says B. And our buddy Bubba Doom 1 says B. I don't trust Romulans, period.
Yep.
I also caught the microscopic wormhole.
Yeah,
I'm a truck driver, lol. No Neelix good. My take on the doctor is probably what Dr. Pulaski would be.
Yeah. I love Bubba Doom.
Indeed. Way to go. Thank you so much, Bubba Doom. The AI show says C+. Written by Bill Dial of Destiny. Oh, God. Enjoyable enough yarn, possibly because Neelix is absent. Romulans pop up, but are surprisingly rendered with some humanity. Donald Sutherland fans will be incensed. Nice. The great enigmatic Drop Bear. Good to see you back, buddy. I hope you had a great week. I hope you're doing well. Says B+. This was a pretty good Star Trek episode, but not a particularly good Voyager episode. The wormhole and various innovations by the crew to exploit it were inspired and interesting. The problem, as a Voyager episode, is that it is premature, and the use of a Romulan was pretty lazy. The show has barely established the crew and stranded, yet we're already shown a lifeline. We're only shown a lifeline home. Okay, that was mentioned earlier about it being a bit early. There you go. The possibility of a path home would work better as an end of season episode after we have had time to become more invested in the crew's feelings of despair from being stranded. Having a Romulan at the end of the wormhole anchors the story because of the challenges of the Alpha Quadrant. Wormhole anchors the story back to challenges in the Alpha Quadrant. The probabilities of this are tiny, contrived, and to leverage audience proclivities. Thank you so much, ED. Well, brilliantly said as always, buddy. Fanty outside, he says, hey, this was very good. This was very good. Kess, being a fast learner, should have been explained. I guess since her species is short-lived, their capacity to learn quickly would be a natural evolution. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Fanty. That's fine. It's perfectly science fiction-y, I guess. It makes sense. If they only live to be 9, they better build up their knowledge and skill set quickly. That makes sense, yeah. If they learned at human speed, they die in 4th grade. You really couldn't have a buoy to auto transmit the message as it could be destroyed. Someone could find it and open it. The scientist was their best case. The fact the Romulan died was interesting as sorry. They're usually long-lived, so having the hope was better than a definitive outcome. Would the Federation even believe the message with Federation Romulan relations? That's a good point. You never know. Joe Dredd, here comes the judge. He says, B-. Kess went from being a telepath, but she can't read her patients' minds. Torres doesn't get along with her mother. Kess becomes a medical genius in a few days.
Yeah. It's annoying.
That says 1 of 2, Judge, but I don't see another one.
Oh. Did I
And that was
it?
that one. No, I don't know. That was at 9:9. That was at 9:59. It says 1 of 2. I'll leave that in there. And we'll go. Victor Fontaine says, to Jill's point, the idea of creating warp bubbles was first proposed in 1994 by the Mexican physicist Miguel Alcubierre, who dubbed them warp drives in homage to the sci-fi series Star Trek. Thank you, Vic.
I just wanted to let you know that the last time I was at my planetarium, we watched a presentation on the plausibility of all of the science. And apparently there is hope amongst these, extreme geniuses that it's possible. They're saying that it's remote, but it's possible. So I hope that gives everyone hope.
Captain Infinity's here.
Hello, Captain Infinity.
Captain Infinity and beyond. What's up, dude?
I'm still looking for that other one from. Oh, I found it.
By the way, Turing Machine was here. Bopped in earlier. Sorry if I missed you there. But I forgot.
My neighbors are so loud tonight.
That's okay. Let's see. You got it? Okay, Joe's other one is right here. It says, Kess kisses the EMH. Kess wants the EMH to have feelings, yet is a hologram. The EMH requests a name. Yes, all true. Thank you, Joe. And of course, our final review for this episode of the evening will be our chief engineer, Hail Mark D with a C. Says A+. Great sci-fi concept with a wormhole that travels through time. Who knows the exact mechanics of a black hole unless you stayed at a Holiday Inn, so I love the idea. This story also humanized the crew and the Doctor, showed how enemies like the Romulans still can have a compassionate side.
Very realistic, too, because that happened in wartime.
Yep. They should have told Telek not that anything will happen to you in the future, but can you make sure to post our messages on Twitter, which might someday become X? Yeah. There you go. So we're ready to move on to our next one.
Yes, let's do it.
All righty then.
You ready?
Okay. Our next episode is Ex Post Facto. That would be our next episode, right? Am I right? That's the right one?
Yes. And
okay.
If you don't like the pretentiousness of the ex post facto, which should only be used by people who actually speak Latin or people who use rhetoric for a living or teach rhetoric, this is actually called retroactive or after the fact. Fewer than 100 people in our world today speak Latin. So let's get on with that. This is season 1, episode 8, prod code 108. This first aired on February 27th, 1995. I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia, the user-generated encyclopedia. I haven't pre-read it, so let's hope it's not too rough. While on a visit to the home planet of the Beneans, Lieutenant Tom Paris is convicted of the murder of engineering physicist Tolan Wren. As punishment, he must relive Wren's last moments every 14 hours. As Wren's memory plays back in Paris's mind, he sees himself with Wren's wife before grabbing him, Wren, in his living room. I just have to say that because I don't think that would be very good for the algorithm. Voyager discovers Paris's fate after Ensign Harry Kim returns to the ship. Kim relates that Wren was helping him and Paris with a damaged piece of equipment and invited them for dinner at his house. While there, Paris got bored and spent some time with Tolan's young wife, Liddell Wren. Soon after, Tolan is exiting the world by way of his living room. Paris was arrested and Kim forced to leave without him. Voyager heads to the Benean homeworld and soon arrives despite encountering the Numiri, another spacefaring race the Beneans are at war with. The Beneans allow Captain Catherine Janeway to see Paris, who denies killing Tolan, even though he did spend some time with Liddell. Immediately afterward, Paris relives Wren's memory once again and loses consciousness. The Voyager crew finds Paris suffering ill effects of the treatment, and the Benean minister allows them to return Paris to the ship for medical care on the advice of the Benean doctor who implanted Wren's memory into Paris. Soon after, Voyager's chief of security, Tuvok, begins investigating the murder. He decides he must perform a mind meld with Paris to witness Wren's memories. As he experiences the memories for himself, Tuvok notices alien writing overplayed on top of the visions. From the memories, Tuvok establishes that Paris is innocent, recognizing that the height difference between Paris and Liddell in the memory is different from reality. Oh, it's very cheesy. And the murderer must have been familiar with Benean anatomy to kill Wren with a single STAB. Good going, Matlock. Tuvok reveals the strange glyphs in the video are confidential technical information important to the Benean war effort against the Numiri. The Benean doctor, who is Liddell's lover, has altered the memory implants to implicate Paris and to use him as a means of smuggling data to the Numiri attackers. Liddell and the doctor are arrested by the Benean authorities, and the memory implanted into Paris is removed. And that's all the internet has to say about retroactive or after the fact. Bossman, what'd you think of this?
Oh boy, it felt like one of those tedious TNG episodes where Riker gets in trouble with you remember the one where he gets in trouble with the
That's exactly what's in my notes.
Hot wife of the of the whatever. But at least that was that was dumb, by the way. I hate that episode, but this one is just more. Do we really need a murder mystery episode where Paris Riker with face gets? It was kind of like I said. It doesn't really. The episode doesn't piss me off like some of the ones we're watching of DS9 in the 6th season. It just kind of bores me. I don't really care much for the whole setup. If you see what I'm saying, it's like, why don't you go from something that's at least, whether you like last week's episode or not, the pure science fiction attempt to tell a story where they're trying to solve a science problem, wanting to get back. That's what, to them stopping off on some planet and having a silly Matlock episode or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not feeling it. I don't really see we need them. I mean, I'm sure I know there are way worse ones, but I just don't really. That's filler crap. We talk a lot about filler around here. That's the kind of episode some of the writers working on the show go, yeah, let's just do a murder mystery. It's not that big of a murder mystery, folks. And why? By the way, I like everyone. I don't know everyone. I mean, a good murder mystery is fine once in a while, but I really don't need them in Star Trek that much. Call me old-fashioned. I don't need them in Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's just me. So I just couldn't get behind it. Larry.
Larry is here. I thought you would want to know, boss. Everyone
Hey.
say hello to Larry. But do me a favor, please don't expect him to respond because he is driving and he's a safe driver.
Uh-oh.
So he
Okay.
is just lurking, but he just wanted to let everyone know that he's here. Larry, I'm sending my love to you, sweetheart. Please drive carefully and we'll see you soon.
Yes, well, good to see you there, buddy. Thanks for popping in, and I'll be safe out there, brother. Yeah, so it's just again, I don't really. It's not. I'm not angry so much. It's just a little like I'm bored with this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't. At least there's a minimum of Neelix, and then even though he's in there, that's something, I guess. Just don't really care much. It's just like this is good. Can we go to the next one? No, I'm not talking about you or me right now, but I'm saying, if I'm sitting there watching this at home, I'm like, okay, murder mystery. We all know what's going to happen. He's going to get off at the end because he didn't do it.
Yeah.
So notes.
I take issue with this episode for a number of reasons, and it's more academic than viewership. So now I'm going to attack it like from an academic perspective and a professional writing perspective. Okay, so this episode is directed by LeVar Burton, and we instantly have that Geordi implant with the Romulan scroll over the front of it. So that's something that he's recycling from TNG. The episode recycles a matter of perspective, okay, with the Krieger wave scientist. It also borrows from Hard Time because it uses this idea of implanted memories to serve as punishment instead of physical incarceration.
Yes.
And this is the very best of DS9, but this is what I'm talking about with these pseudo experts who are on social media all the time, who like pretend that they've memorized everything from Star Trek. And it's just because they like their one iteration of Star Trek and they don't realize how much recycling's going on. It's not quite as easy to play Star Trek trivia if you're a 735er. And that is precisely because of episodes just like this. You have the alien language scrolling over the bottom of this implanted control, which is something that happened to Geordi LaForge. That's coming right from LeVar Burton, so there's no imagination there. Then we've got the matter of perspective with the Krieger wave scientist. It is identical. It's identical. It's identical. And then, of course, then we have this wonderful, magnificent idea that is not science fiction. It's actually futurism, which is Hard Time, which is, as I said earlier, these implanted memories.
Yep.
So this is a perfect example of when I'm talking on social media about how people get all puffy chested and pretend like they know all there is to know about Star Trek. It can be quite difficult once you start watching all of Star Trek and you realize just how much recycling is going on. And when you and I were reviewing TOS, I promised that as we got to the later iterations of Star Trek, that I would start to give evidence and be demonstrative in my approach to proving just how much recycling is going on. And so retroactive or X or EC post facto definitely is an example of that. So I don't like it very much. I don't think that it's good to just create salad from other writers. It doesn't show very good imagination. It doesn't show that you have an authorial voice. It just shows that you're sort of taking chunks from somebody else's meal that they made and serving it and saying that you made it. You didn't. This is a remix. This is like remix. This is like that rap music where, nothing new is happening. It's just other people's stuff being played. This is actually, if this was a standalone episode, if there wasn't so much recycling, it would be an okay episode. But there's just too much recycling here of the storylines, and they stand out to Trekkies. They stand out. I wrote in my notes that I love Chakotay and that I really enjoy the Tuvok character. I really love Vulcanians. I think they're super cool. This is a concept I'm intrigued by. The discussion of implanted punishment to avoid the cost of incarceration and rehabilitation. And as a communications and technology scholar, I can tell you that this is futurism that sort of frightens me. Because of it, not only its plausibility, but the fact that we have the means, we're near the means of being able to achieve this, and how much money it will save. And wow, what if we go ahead with that? So this is a huge issue for discussion. And I like massaging this idea and keeping it in the public's consciousness because of how dangerous it is.
Well, you have this one idea that was intriguing, but the debate will probably be how cruel that is. It's the one thing that they do to O'Brien in Hard Time, where they implant a 20-year sentence into his memory, never to be forgotten. This one, you suffer the death of your you feel exactly what your victim felt every day.
Every 14 hours.
Every 14 hours. So that's wow, that's rough. I mean, not saying I wouldn't be for it or against it. I'm just saying that's pretty rough stuff for a society like that. So yeah,
it is.
That's a fascinating thing about the episode. Yeah.
It is, and that would have been a borrowed concept from the marvelous human beings that brought us Hard Time, which I believe is the best of DS9.
Yeah, great episode, yeah.
But it's just too much recycling and nothing. There's no added value there, and we even have LeVar Burton adding things that his character went through in TNG, and so people recognize this mixed salad that you've just taken the leftovers from the fridge and you're saying you cooked a fabulous dinner, and you didn't. The fries are from McDonald's, the burger is from Dairy Queen, and the baked potatoes from Arby's. Right. You know what I mean? So, and I also didn't like the aspects of the Matlock, Tuvok Matlock. I just don't like it. It's too
old.
Yeah, it was very campy. It reminded me of like the television shows my granny used to watch on TV. Like she would watch all of those. What is it? Angela Lansbury. The
Murder She Wrote, basically. Murder She Trekked. It's just, so Keely Chow, Roll Tide, Keely.
Roll Tide. And just one little nitpick, because it is a Chihuahua mix. The little dog Nika they call her a girl, but when Nika stands up, you can see Nika has a giant package. So Nika is definitely not a girl. Nika has a giant package. It's unsightly. It's almost like that dog should be wearing pants. Jesus. So maybe we should call him Nico, which is Nicholas in Greek. I'm going to call him Nico. Anyway, I don't like this episode. And like I said, not so much like a viewer, but more like a Trekkie, and from an academic and professional writer's perspective, that being all of this very tedious reworking and reusing and recycling and not doing it in a good way. There's nothing new here, and then the Matlock crap on top of it. So it's a no-go for me, boss.
I got you. So what is your rating of X Post Poo-Poo?
I rated a D. It's a D. This one is a D for dump. They just decided to take a big dump. And this is the result. They had their dinner, and now they're going to give us their D for dump. Thanks for your dump.
Well, I tend to agree. I also have a D, and now I will ask our dear friends in the chat, please give us your rating of Ex Post Facto or Facto or whatever, Ex Post Facto, and any words you may have. And while you're doing that, number one is getting that together for us. Our good buddy Michael Beacom has words to say about the episode.
Brian Hepburn, can I please just put this on the marquee for 2 seconds? This is super funny because he just said it at the exact right time.
Oh God! Anything you want to tell me?
Do you have a cigar for that comment, Brian?
Anything you want to tell me? That was Kirk's response, right?
Yes. Anyway,
all right. Michael Beacom, in regards to Ex Post Facto, says C, gives it a C, and says, and now we have left science fiction for gothic romance murder mystery. I love murder mysteries, but science fiction and high technology makes it very difficult to maintain the mystery, in quotes. That's a very good point, Michael. Yeah, you're right. Um, Again, we see them trying to hammer Tom Paris into the James T. Kirk mold, labeled womanizer. Yeah, I'm no judge. I'm no judge. So, ladies, is Robbie McNeil really all that? I don't see it, other than the disturbing fact that the Voyager crew seem to have no concept of quote unquote first contact protocols. I did enjoy at least the attempt to bring the science into it as a factor via Tuvok. Someone must have been a Columbo fan in the writer's room. Censors find no traces of originality, but at least it was not offensive, says the great Michael Beacom, folks. Now, let me see up in here what we got going on with you fine chaps out there. Neelix, just kidding. He's I think I might change Zathr's name to Neelix since he needs a new name. Just kidding. Zathra says F Neelix. I agree with F Neelix. Oh, you mean okay. F. He gives it. Neelix set up Paris to get him away from Cass. Denny Crane. What does Boston Legal have to do with this? I hear you, Zathras, and thank you. And no, it was a joke. I'm not calling you Neelix. I promise. J.T. Kirk C's D+. Not science fiction, also not interesting. Tupac makes all the needed connections. Tupac,
person. I love this person.
We used to call Tuvok on purpose. We call him Tuvok Shakur. So you calling him Tupac works as well. Tupac makes all the needed connections, just as the plot demands from him. The intergalactic ho for show has burpees. I guarantee it. J.T. Kirk, you mess you. I love it. But J.T. Kirk's the best. The best. Guagnar says. Grade F. Wow. Feels like a rejected story from TNG Season 7. Just substituting Perez for Riker. Yeah, adds nothing to the series and is completely skippable, and I recommend you do so. Understood, sir.
Yep.
I hear you. Don't blame you. Also, Neelix, please just shut up.
I know. I hate Neelix, and I strongly dislike Cass. Hey, did I tell you that I hate Neelix and I strongly dislike Cass?
Yeah, I'm more indifferent to Tess. I think she's Cass, but I'm with you on Neelix. Big time with you. It was so on the same page there. Enigmatic Dropper says D. Fantastic. Tom Paris is our new Decker unit. Please no. And pet dogs? Really? Yeah, they just called it a dog, by the way. I don't know.
I know.
You didn't call it what was it? Battlestar Galactica said Daggets or whatever. You call it like a Dougal or a Dreagle or a Bloogle. I mean, did you have to say dog? You that unoriginal?
It's a Chinese crested mixed with a Chihuahua,
right.
And that's not a good thing to do. Don't mix Chinese crested with Chihuahuas. Just let the Chihuahua be on its own. They're very cute dogs. Those Chinese crested, they make some really weird looking dogs.
But it's another planet. Just don't call it a dog. Just for the hell of it.
Don't.
Really? The writing in this episode is impressively unimaginative, and its depiction utterly boring and tedious. Yes, sir. Let's see. What were Paris and Kim doing on this planet in the first place? This story is thoroughly misplaced, almost certainly a repurposed and shoehorned into the Voyager framework, and it really shows.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I totally
Enigmatic Drop Bear, as always.
Yeah.
Nicely said.
Beautiful reviews, as always. I love them.
Linrod says, B. Paris being a Chad with that hot space chick was kind of stupid, but I suppose she was desperate for attention. And it's Tom Paris. Cause somebody has to be it's Tom Paris because somebody has to be a Kirk. It's more of a Riker thing than Kirk.
Yeah, it's more of a Riker thing, especially, because she's Birdhead.
Birdhead. And I got to say it. That space chick was a real hottie. Even with all the prosthetic on there, she was still striking. I could swim in dim eyes. You like that? You liked her, Lynn? Well, that's nothing.
So what you're saying is, would
you like that girl, huh? Well, she's kind of cute. I mean, I can't say it was she really did them a whole lot for me personally, but to each their own. But definitely, certainly cutable. Yeah. I loved how they had the secret information in the vision of the murder. I thought the space writing seemed odd, and it turns out it was odd. Yeah.
Linrod, Hot Rod.
My only complaint here is the doggo. Tuvok should have took a moment to explain that the doggo doesn't like strangers. So when it reacted happily to the guy, it would have been obvious to everyone. I was probably kind of in a coma by that point, buddy. Our wonderful friend, communications officer, anti-derivative Jill says C-. I enjoy the interesting concept of forcing a criminal to experience what they did to their victim, as it is a barbaric psychological version of taking an eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
However, the murder mystery was exceedingly predictable based on clues that are way too obviously presented both from the wife and of the Banian doctor, who made possible only by Tom's overactive libido. Yes, Jill. It's a mess. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when it comes for you? Oh, I'm sorry, Linrod. You put 5 of 4. The other one was 4 of 4. That led me to believe there were no more, my friend. So now I see the 5 or 4 up there. You can see where you could be timey-wimey. I understand we have some time travel this month, but kind of threw me off, so I apologize. It says, I should mention that I've not seen any of the episodes this one is ripping off, so it looks fresh to me. Lol.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Linrod. Thank you. That's cool. I do understand.
I agree, Linrod.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I even had that in my notes. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you were just like a person who only watched Voyager and you didn't watch any other iterations of Star Trek? This would seem very fresh and well wrought. You wouldn't know that it's a piecemeal puzzle, of leftovers. But yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So let's see. Shooter says, C. Paris should keep it in his pants. Is it these writers' fantasy to get it on with an alien? Well, could be. I am but if it is, how about go for the Green Orion slave girl? I could understand that. And reminder of how Jay described it in Clerks 2. See that guy? He's effed an alien. Oh, Clerks, I didn't watch 2. I haven't seen 2. Another murder mystery and morally questionable punishment. Also, another obsessive scientist. And a neglected wife as well. It's so tired, isn't it? A bunch of recycled ideas here. Yes, sir. They really are.
That you can that real Trekkies can instantly identify.
How'd that happen?
Well, I don't know. The chat's acting weird tonight. Weird.
Oh, did I lose it? Oh crap. All right, so okay. Are you done? Or do you need to say something?
No, I'm okay. I'm actually just shocked at what happened. I just wanted to say, like
right.
The worst part of it is that Trekkies instantly identify it. When you start calling out the names of the ideas from previous episodes, you're in deep poop.
Yeah. Yepper. Here we go. Return of the Mind Meld. Yay. Still, it is an interesting episode, although more drama than sci-fi. The dog reveal reminds me of the Tribbles revealing the Klingon spy. Silly but funny. Oh, Lordy. Let's see here. Admiral Teague says, A-. I love Tuvok episodes. This is just the first murderer we're going to see him mind meld with. It's kind of his thing. Well, I like Tuvok as well. Thank you, buddy. Admiral on the bridge. Simply Steve says D rating, alt title, if so facto et tu brute. This is, oh boy, man, you something, boy. This is not sci-fi. Even with Tuvok Space Law Inc. Lol. Another courtroom drama. No thanks.
Yeah.
I checked out of episode when it was first aired.
That's a
I
beautiful
got
review.
you. Well done,
Boss Man,
Stevo. Yes.
Cardi just walks through the door. Everybody say hello to Cardi. He's here.
Cardinal. Sid, what is up, Gil? How you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing well.
Sorry for interrupting, boss.
No, I'm glad you did. Thank you. I want to know anytime someone comes in. You know that. Jill. I'm sorry, not Jill. Sorry, Jill. I meant Lisa. Lisa says, "A, excellent tech tampering relevant to today murder mystery. Tuvok has eyebrowed. Tuvok has eyebrowed Neelix and is Janeway's rock, but here, brilliant, stiff and stoic. Tuvok calmly solves this as everyone is hand wringing. You know, I will say that I enjoyed Tuvok most of the episode there,
Yep,
Lisa. So thank you so much. Brian Hepburn says, "No one likes Neelix when he's a bit too Felix."
I just love that. I know that's not a review, but I loved it.
It's all right.
It's good. It's a gooder.
No problem. It's a gooder, indeed. Sandra Feliciano says, "D, while the horror of reliving the victim's experience would deter a normal person, it won't stop actual criminals dealing with inmates I've seen. They just don't care. It wouldn't affect criminals." Good point. Well, there you go. Thank you, Sandra. Eric K says C. So do these half-bird people lay eggs or other? How would that even work? I do not think Paris would just hop in bed with a married lady. Too bad they did not send Neelix instead. Yeah.
Could you imagine their offspring, Chicken Man and Birdhead, together?
Chicken Man.
Yeah, it's like she has like pheasant head and he's Chicken Man. So together,
Pheasant head.
I mean, we could have
like
Popeyes in space. We could have some actual Popeyes chicken sandwiches. Let's do it.
I like
we
that.
won't even need the replicator. Kidding.
Indeed.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't send me any DMs. I don't want it. I don't want to read them.
Joseph Dredd, here comes the judge. Says F, alternate title, As the Voyager Turns, or Star Trek Murder Mystery Theater. Recycled plot from A Matter of Perspective. Paris kills a scientist over a woman. Kim is virtually useless in this episode, like usual. Thank goodness for Tuvok. Tuvok Columbo comes along. Comes along to save the day and solves the mystery. Tuvok is always important that way. Classic Comics says grade C+. This episode is indicative of a problem with that Voyager, of a problem that Voyager would run into over time. Too much recycling of plots from previous episodes. We've seen this plot before, and know how it ends. Thank you. We know Paris has been set up, so there's some mild curiosity about how it was done, but no dramatic tension. As we know, he's innocent. We were pitched a show in a new part of the galaxy.
Pause for 2 eggs of a puppy's tail, just so I can say, good evening, Rob Altus. Everyone, Rob is here. Everybody wave to Rob Altus. Thank you so much for joining us.
Rob.
Sorry, boss. Go ahead.
No problem. Glad to see you here, Rob. Thank you. With new aliens that would open the door for new types of stories, but just became warmed over TNG with too many holodeck episodes, too many spatial anomaly of the week, and way too many Borg. I concur completely. Classic Comics. I definitely hear where you're coming from, buddy. Lisa says she laying dinner everywhere. Okay, she did. Let's see here. Fandom Outsider says
it's finger looking good.
Are we missing a Phantom Outsider when it says one of two here, and I don't see any other one starred?
I don't know. The chat did a big burp a little while ago. And
that was at 10:41.
Okay,
so I'll read this one if you can see anything. Okay. Ugh, my original got eaten as an error. D.
Oh.
It was awful. I thought the text at the bottom was part of the punishment. You have to relive this guy's last moments with subtitles for $5. You can, for $5 can. Well, that's all I got of yours so far, Fanty. If you got another one out there, you'll see it. You don't see it.
No, but didn't he just say that he deleted?
No, there was. I don't know. He said he had another one. That one said one of. That one said one of two.
I'm looking now. The chat keeps going completely blank, and then it fills up again.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, not a biggie. My
Very
chat's moving too fast.
strange.
My
I'm
chat
looking.
goes too fast for me to see. Mine's wound way backwards, so I can't really.
Yeah, it's not there. It's not anywhere near 21 past the hour. I wonder if it got vaporized.
Mine got vaporized there, dude.
Weird. He has actually nothing after that on my side of the chat. Hold on. Let me just look through one more time. No,
Wow.
just him saying hi to Mark. That's all I have.
Wow.
Wait. No, he's talking to Admiral Teague here.
I think it got blasted, Fancy.
Yeah, because all I have him is talking to Mark and Admiral Teague after that. I don't have anything before that or after that. For sure.
Well, Fancy, I don't. Yeah, I'm looking also.
It's not here, boss.
I see his. Yeah, I only see the first one, but oh, there it is.
Oh,
can you get the English translation? He said. So.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anyway, our final review of this episode of the evening, folks, is by the great Mark D with a C. It says B-. Not a wholly original plot. Been there, done that with Trek murder mysteries, but this was not all bad. Alien concept of punishment was interesting and opens up the debate of torture versus punishment. I did like Tuvok playing Sherlock Holmes, but Paris was written as a little too eager to interact. Don't these people know how dangerous it can be on an away mission? Yeah. Very reckless, yes. Doesn't the Voyager crew know what happened to Wussy when he was playing with balls?
Oh, no.
I'm afraid I don't know.
It's forbidden to disturb new plants. Chris Persia, thank you so much, honey. I love you. And thank you so much, Anti-Derivative Jill. I missed your guys' responses to him because I was scrolling, looking for it deep in the back. And I couldn't see it on my side. Anyway, but I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we're square. All right, everyone.
We're squared up, boss.
On to the next episode. Here it is. It is Prime Factors.
No.
No?
No.
The other one?
Yeah, Emanations.
Emanations, sorry. Well,
yeah, that's what happens. Emanations is what happens to your body when you have Dr. McCoy's beans and sing row your boat.
Fair
no,
enough.
Just kidding. Emanations, season 1, episode 9, production code 109. This first aired on March 13th, 1995. I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia, the user-generated encyclopedia. And sometimes it sucks, and it's made worse by the fact that I never pre-read it. So let's bleed. Voyager detects the signature of an as yet undiscovered heavy element within the ring system of a planet and organizes an away team to investigate the cavern system of one of the rocks. In doing so, they discover numerous humanoid bodies covered in a cobweb-like substance and conclude that the cavern system is a burial ground. They discover that the burial ground is still in use when a subspace vacuole opens and deposits a body shrouded in webbing. Another vacuole begins to form, and the away team is beamed out for safety reasons. But Ensign Kim disappears into the vacuole and is replaced with a female alien body, also wrapped in the webs. Kim has been transported to a mortuary on the alien's homeworld and finds himself in a pod-shaped device, which the aliens open to release him. They identify themselves as Nori and believe that Kim has come from the next emanation. So, exactly what I told you about the campfire. The next emanation, their name for the afterlife. The pods, when activated, open a vacuole and transport the dying Nori inside of the emanation. Confined to a mortuary building, Kim meets Hatil, I think is how they pronounce it, who has been scheduled by his family to go to the next emanation. Hatil does not wish to. However, the confusion surrounding Kim's arrival to the planet reinforces his doubts about the nature of the afterlife. Meanwhile, on Voyager, the Doctor revives the body of the woman who's replaced Kim. She becomes hysterical when she realizes that the afterlife is not as she had believed. Eventually, she agrees to be transported into a forming vacuole in an attempt to be returned to her homeworld, but the attempt fails. Her body rematerializes, swathed or swathed in the web-like substance. On the homeworld, Kim and Hatil agree to switch places so that Kim can be transported back through a vacuole using the burial pod, and Hatil can escape and live out his life in a rural village. Hatil wraps Kim in a burial shroud. Kim is rescued by Voyager and revived after being transported through the pod. Later, he worries about his experience, but Captain Catherine Janeway reassures him that their scans picked up emanations of neural energy coming from the bodies of the deceased Nuri, and a giant energy field made of thousands of these energy patterns is around the asteroid field. Thousands, should be billions, but whatever, indicating a possible afterlife for the Nuri. And that is all Wikipedia has to say about emanations. What'd you think of this one, boss? Lemon pie.
I think I need some lemon pie, but lemon pie's been here much earlier. So yeah, thank you, lemon pie, for being there. Yeah. It's just I don't mind Star Trek proposing an uncomfortable. Hey, look who's here, Herc. Herc, what's up?
Hooby dooby, hooby dooby.
Dooby dooby.
Where's the tequila?
Yeah. Religion again. How long did it take him to go back to religion?
But I liked this one, and I can't even believe that Michael Piller actually allowed this one to be done.
Right, because well, again, and the thing I kind of liked about this one was it was a very. It doesn't take sides. There's a
That's
bit,
what I put in my notes. I love you so much.
Well, there's a bit where Harry, when the faith is being shaken by some of these people. This guy that Harry's talking to says, well, he's treating Harry like he's proof that what this guy suspected. Mm-hmm. that all these people have been wrong all this time. All he said was, just because I don't have an answer doesn't mean they're wrong. Mm-hmm. In other words, I found this episode to be pretty challenging and pretty, I don't know. I found it to be actually kind of a fascinating
Me too.
Idea and a concept they handled in an interesting way, because it wasn't very bad. It wasn't trashing these people. They had their beliefs, and I don't know. It looks like they weren't saying that they weren't coming along dumping all over these people.
Yes.
I guess that's why I kind of liked the episode. I thought this is a pretty interesting episode overall. Notes?
Yeah, me too. Seska is finally in yellow. In previous episodes, we watched her wear the medical green from DS9 that was developed, and then the science blue. So it's just annoying, and many of you heard me saying, why is she wearing that? Well, she's finally in yellow. This is a fascinating topic. I love this idea of death and the afterlife and alien rituals. The thing is that I like about this episode is normally I'm against getting into religion in Star Trek, because Gene Roddenberry didn't like it. He didn't want to offend people. He didn't want to upset people by being too on the nose and just turning people off. He was better at rhetoric than that. But it's very TOS in that Hatil must elect to die because he is disabled. That's a very TOS thing. And inasmuch it borrows from TNG's Half a Life with David Ogden Stiers, which everyone knows I absolutely love that episode. And I really like that it brings that issue up. I just wish that it would have went a little further. I thought it was a little cowardly not to unpack that. Okay. I think that this kind of messaging is really important. This is very TOS to say, okay, you have to elect to die, and you're electing to die because you're a burden on your family. You're disabled. This is a really, really weighty issue. And this is what science fiction's supposed to do. It's supposed to help us grapple with these issues, not just futurism, but medical technology, and technology in general. So I really like that part of it. There were things that I didn't like about it though. So I didn't give it a perfect score. I didn't really like the I actually wrote in my notes, just to be puntastic for Scuba Pete. Holy Prime Directive failed, Janeway. Holy? Anyway. And of course, the Hatil says thanologists instead of thanatologists. I lived as a Greek person for more than 15 years, and thana it just means death. So I just noticed that it's like you actually have to say. Anyway,
Yes.
I do like that this episode makes no judgment on the religious aspects of afterlife concepts. It asks more questions than it aims to answer or suggest. So I think in this case, I actually think that Gene Roddenberry would have let this one pass because of the souls in the rings. I really like this idea of the souls in the rings. Um, it signals the viewer that nothing can be decided. As you know, I'm an agnostic, and I follow Socrates's idea of I can't profess to know that which is unknowable, so I don't pass judgment on religious people, and I think it's wrong to do that. So I really like this idea of souls in the rings. Even back in 1995, when I was a practicing religious person, my heart was just filled with so much joy and so much hope at the way that this aspect of the story is handled. You die, but it's not at all the way that your holy book said, and yet somehow you do wind up doing something very incredible, and it's of a nature in which you cannot understand or fathom, which I think is super cool. How could the death shroud be in Hatil's family for 5,000 years? This is one place where the Jerry Taylor should have been on top of it. And remember, an editor is supposed to be there to protect the authors. These authors are pumping out stories. Well, I use the term author in this case very loosely because it's a corporate room full of writers, but you should be protecting the people who are writing here, because the body goes into an asteroid. The shroud isn't recoverable. This should have been edited out. So they go inside of the sarcophagus. They are euthanized, and then their body is transferred to the asteroid. There would be no way to retrieve that death shroud. So that should have been edited out. It should have been caught. That's a huge mistake that should have been caught. And then just some of my closing comments. These are some really nice ideas that take shape in a non-judgmental way. It's actually very agnostic and very hopeful. It walks right up to these very contentious issues, but leaves it to the viewer to sort it all out how they feel. I love that. The execution isn't perfect. There is some sloppy editing, but I definitely like the messaging. It's very agnostic and it appeals to me, especially the hopeful messages about our understanding of what, or our conceptualizations even, of afterlife. So I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was perfect, but pretty darn good.
Excellent. Well, there you go. So what would your rating be? Because again, it was fascinating how it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't preach at you, it doesn't belittle these people, and it doesn't draw conclusions. And again, the key to it was they weren't telling these people they were wrong. They weren't saying, they said, but they, obviously they didn't necessarily agree with what they were doing, but they weren't telling them they were wrong. And even Harry was trying to tell this guy, are you sure you want to, just kill yourself like that? I mean, but if you do, that's, they respected their right to have their beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I thought that was really cool. I do think it's cowardly though when they walk up to the David Ogden Stiers episode and they don't do a beautiful job like they did with the David Ogden Stiers episode, The Half a Life. where you have to elect to die. I would have liked to see a lot more of that. But as far as this very hopeful message about this alien conceptualization of afterlife, making us judge our own conceptualizations of the afterlife. What if energy and how our energy is conveyed into the next reality or the next idea of afterlife, how that can turn it all up on its ear and say, don't be so convinced that you're right, and don't be so convinced that you're wrong. I really love that Janeway gently admonishes her sort of adoptive son here in Harry Kim and says to him, I think it's wonderful that you've just given me all of your atheistic rhetoric, but at the same time, it doesn't apply here, because here we're not here to talk about theology. She's basically saying this to him in not so many words, in the way that it's conveyed, because she says, those the energy that is in those rings, it's not normal. It's not just any type of plain energy. It's an energy we can't even begin to understand. It's going to take us a while to even unpack the concept of what is in those rings. And that's where that energy, that consciousness is going. So I think it's marvelous. I think this is a beautifully agnostic episode filled with stuff that Gene Roddenberry would have liked, but it kind of chickens out. It should have grabbed itself by its testes and just did the job, got it done, gone all the way. So I did deduct it for some sloppy editing and for walking straight up to the idea of having someone who's disabled electing to self-delete and not dealing with it. Because and now everyone in the chat is going to know what's coming next out of Raquel's mouth. Does it pass the Kirk test? And here we really needed our beautiful Captain Kirk to walk over to that man and say that to that man that his life, that he isn't a burden, and that you don't have to self-delete, and we would have received an entire message about being hopeful and loving and what is the quality of life and what someone contributes, love and joy and meaning in life. I know Captain Kirk would have had a message like that for us, and I know that message would have been outstanding. So we needed that here. So I'm sorry, I can only give it a B. I cannot go any further because I think it dropped the ball. I think it did something really nice, but then it opened up a can of worms and then sort of just walked away from the can of worms because it was too ugly to look at. And so that's kind of cowardly. So I'm gonna add a plus. I'm gonna add a B plus. I can't go any higher than that. And that's it, boss.
No, that's fair. Absolutely. By the way, Michael Beacon's here.
Yay!
Hey, Michael Beacon.
And Ravenscroft. And Das Wolfen.
And Das Wolf. I was about to mention them too. Shout out to Cassandra, by the way, as well.
Hello.
Good to see you all. Good to see you all. So if you want to start I'm going to go with a B minus. There were things that I really liked the episode. I thought it was fairly sturdy, and it was an interesting story. Again, anytime they're on point to what they want to do, and they're not adding a bunch of filler cheese in it like a stupid murder mystery and all that crap with the previous episode. And they're hitting you with hard-hitting questions. Whether they're doing it perfectly or not, that's definitely up for debate. I thought they were doing it pretty well, and they weren't being your favorite word, didactic.
Yeah.
They were definitely being very even-handed about it.
Yeah.
And it was pure science fiction and speculation, and it was definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
And a very thoughtful episode. Not an easy one, but a thoughtful one.
But Janeway should have said something to her, a young man who really looks up to her and really needs his mom and dad. She really should have said something to him about, Hatil.
Yep. All right, everybody, please give your reviews. And I will read our buddy Michael Beacom's review of Emanations. Michael Beacom, love this episode. No, he didn't. Just kidding. Michael Beacom says, Emanations, he says, D minus. What the hell was this? Someone saw the worst religion episodes of DS9 and said, hold my Romulan ale? Someone heard the Arthur C. Clarke quote about high tech seeming like magic. It just said, "So can we just do anything?" Yay! Again, at a distance, indistinguishable from Lost in Space, stuff can just happen and no explanation necessary. And don't get me started on the church bashing. Again, even if you have no faith, or especially if you have no faith, you need to tread very carefully with this. Like watching a skilled tightrope walker, these writers took the plunge. I don't know. I mean, they didn't seem to be that malignant towards religion to me, or religious people to me, Michael, but that's the way you saw it. So that's your review. Thank you, Michael Beacom, for that. Parker Luck. Thank you, Parker. Parker Luck says A-. This episode really reminds me of the original series, Return to Tomorrow. For the webbing cover of the Dead reminds me when Q freezes Yar in a counter Farpoint. Overall, great episode. Thank you, Parker. Admiral Teague says B+. We're starting to see that when they revisit TNG concepts, they can look out of their depth, and that Captain Insane Way is no Kirk. Well, yeah, of course she's no Kirk. I mean, it goes without saying. Jill
calls her Insane Way.
Insane Way, yeah, that's fun. I love that. Jill says C+. The main failure of this episode was in its inability to explain the nature of the dimensional travel or lend any credence to where it led. I was taken out of it. There. Let's see. However, I was interested in the questioning of reality and the aliens had to endure. I understand respecting the dead, but scans wouldn't just desecrate anything. Harry was respectful to the faith, and sometimes it is interesting to think about what happens when our corporeal form is gone and how a cultured threat treats death.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Oh,
yes.
Lenrod is reminding us all that her name is Bangway.
Bangway? Oh.
we established her name was Bangway last week, remember?
Yep. Oh,
thank you, Len.
I got to remember that. Wagner says grade D+. No Neelix. So, there was no Neelix? Again? Are you sure there was no Neelix? I'll take on him. Well, you got to give us some points. No Neelix, so it gets a bonus, but that bonus is immediately nullified by being a Harry Kim episode. Also gets another mark off for bringing Harry back to life after killing him off. Oh, not a Harry fan. We have a non-Harry fan here.
That's
and
okay.
Our buddy Quag. That's okay. No one can really blame you. JT Click says, a B. He said the episode smartly threads the needle on an issue in a way that feels very Star Trek. The implementation of the subspace vacuoles and spiderweb body crust really drags the episode score down. Okay, well, there you go, man. Shooter says C+. Okay, start with anthropology, some of the old school new alien culture and contamination. Throw in some religious ignorance. And is there an afterlife? Oh, and is there an afterlife is still a question unanswered. Is the energy that is released the essence of the species? At least it is provided as a possibility. For what it is, it is not bad and could have been worse, says Shooter. Well, that's fair enough. Shooter. Fair enough, Shooter. Simply Steve says C+. Rating afterlife episode that has Hittel. Hittil,
I think is his name. Hatil, I think it is. Hittil.
Okay. Hittil wanting to be happy in purgatory, I guess. Planetary rings represent angelic halos, maybe. I mistook rebbing as by space spiders, not a burial shroud. Wow. I think you were kind of supposed to be. The whole point was they were trying to make you think there must be spiders at the beginning. C is the rating from the AI show. It says optional titles: Pods Save Us and Emanation Impossible. Essentially mixes a kind of ancient Egyptian type of mindset and death and beyond with sci-fi tech and environment. Afterlife hard. Afterlife is hard after all. It's a fair cult, but society is to blame. Let's see here. Enigmatic Drop Bear says C+. This type of story is well suited to Star Trek, applying a scientific yet respectful perspective to an alien culture and rituals. The bipolymer and subspace vacuole concepts were very interesting elements. This could have been a great episode if told with more nuance and had better developed the culture it examines. Okay. Thank you so much, ED.
Yeah, I think it had a long way to go to become an A. That's for sure.
Indeediousness. Lisa does not like it though. D gives it a D. Confusing. Are all characters on the sample plane of existence or not? Was Harry in a different dimension? The topic of death after life will not be solved here, but enough to make you think. Fair enough, Lisa. Linrod says B. Got into the religion vibe, but it didn't make fun of anything, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
That's what I was. Yeah. Most importantly, though, we got two zombies in this episode. Harry is now a zombie. Found it strange that when they beamed out and then beamed back to the space girl. Somehow, in that short moment of being dead, she got covered in webbing. I guess they decompose crazy fast.
It's not decomposing. I believe the doctor said it's something that they excrete from their bodies the minute that they pass because it's what helps them to decompose. Creepy.
Right.
Creepy.
Yep. But the question we should all be asking is, how did they get the burial shroud back from the dude's ancestors in order for him to be able to wear it for his burial? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I said that in my notes. 5,000 years. Where
they kept getting it back. I don't know about all that. If they were wearing it when they were teleported, then shouldn't it have been teleported out with him, or do clothes transport in, but not out? You got me, partner. Fanty outside Erie says C. This is okay, but asteroids don't have the gravity for an M-class environment. The bodies, according to Chakotay, were naked, so only the bodies, not the shroud, was transported. The planet. Oh, that's true. Good point. Thank you, planet. Thank you, Fanty. The planet was 6 light years from them and took seconds to reach at that rate. Voyager would be about 7 to 10 days from Earth. These people obviously loved Mothra, where there were the tiny princesses to sing to them. Yeah, well, who doesn't love Mothra? Come on.
Yeah, I don't buy the whole they just transported the bodies and not the shroud thing. I don't know. I don't buy that. I heard that too, but I don't buy that. I think that's weird. They're just 100% transporting it. I think they needed to unpack that idea for it to pass the sniff test, because too many people just say to themselves, what? Why would you want a death shroud back? And why would you be getting it back, and how? So you just transport the body and not the shroud? Very odd.
Very odd indeed. C+, says Das Wolfman. While in some ways it did feel like a TNG episode, but was clumsy in execution, something Voyager did a lot. Yeah, right. Joseph Dredd, here comes the judge, says C+, C-. Sorry. Asteroids don't have the mass for Class M status. Harry Kim, episode UGG, religious guys called the vacuole spectral ruptures. Harry Kim does, and Edmund Dantes. That says 1 of 2. I don't see any other ones by you yet.
And everyone keeps mentioning this, or asteroids don't have the mass for Class M status. I'd like to know what Class M is, because you would then also have to say that you don't like Arena.
Yeah.
Because Arena takes place on an asteroid.
Good point. There you go. From Count of Monte Cristo, and it's called only to be revived by the EMH doctor. Oh, Roy, and then we've got the great Eric K, who says D+. So basically now on this planet, they have a seed of doubt on what happens when they die. What will happen in the future? I do not understand how the people in charge think the bodies just disappear. They have no idea where the bodies went. You would think they would know you were beamed out of something. I want some pie now. I like how Chakotay respects other religions.
Yep.
Right, that was respectful of him. And I think that's all I got so far. Unless
I think the chat is misunderstanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that be careful not to slip into being a hypocrite, because remember, Arena takes place on an asteroid.
It is an asteroid.
Yeah.
So was Rura Pente.
Yeah.
So anyway, Menshara class planet says
Yeah. And they're misunderstanding what we're trying to say. It's just like if you admonish this particular episode for something like that, you're pointing out something that's it screams hypocrisy, because of course you Star Trek
has an atmosphere. Yeah. So well, no Mark D. Mark D, where you at, dude? You don't have a review for us? You must be busy or something. Could be early. So, going once, going twice. Oh, there's good. Let's see.
Oh.
No review, too much time at comic convention, didn't finish my homework. Well, you go to the back of the line. Well,
Mark
hopefully
D
you still...
with a C. My comics came today. Mark D with a C.
Yeah. He'll join us. Unless you're tired, join us later after we do the next episode, if you feel like it. Nope, no biggie. All right, so
simply Steve. It's just like I think that it's just funny though that people would call out Voyager for doing something that was done over and over and over again in TOS. So yeah.
Well, so we're ready for our final episode of the evening.
Yeah, we are. Ooh,
all right.
Better get my crap together here.
Hopping.
I'm like, I'm dozing off here. I'm asleep at the wheel.
You tired? We'll go quick. Let's get it.
No, I'm okay.
Next one is Prime Factors. I'm going to go get some meds.
That's okay, Mark, and the guys are here. I'm okay.
All right, be right back.
All right, folks. Prime Factors is season 1, episode 10, production code 110. This was first broadcast on March 20th, 1995. I've been watching it since then. Isn't that crazy? Every year, starting on January 1st. All right, I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. I haven't read this before. It might not be written very well. So let's just saddle up, lock and load. Voyager encounters a hedonistic and hospitable race known as the Sicarans and is invited to visit their homeworld. Shore leave is organized, and during the visit, Ensign Kim and a Sicaran transport themselves to another planet, Alastra. Kim deduces that the teleporter device, the Trajector, has transported them 40,000 light years. Captain Janeway is informed and asks Gaff, the leader of the Sicarans, if the technology could be used to transport Voyager further towards the Alpha Quadrant. Gaff states that their laws forbid sharing technology. The crew considers how they can bargain for technology, and Kim remembers that stories are valued by the Sicarans. Janeway takes this into account and offers Voyager's entire library of literature if the Sicarans will transport Voyager. Wow. Gaff promises to discuss the offer with the other Sicaran leaders. In engineering, Seska Torres and Lieutenant Carey examine a spatial rift caused by the trajector to understand how it works. Later, Kim is approached by a civilian who offers to illegally hand over the technology in exchange for the literature. Janeway is reluctant to authorize an illicit trade, so she beams down to pressure Gaff one more time, but Gaff never intended to accept her offer and orders Voyager to leave. Janeway returns to the ship and orders the recall of all personnel. Okay, Whoever wrote this needs to be shin-kicked. This is all bordering on not being true at all. This description is not accurate at all. Torres, Carrie, and Seska have downloaded the library and head to the transporter room. While trying to access the transporter, Tuvok walks in on them, but instead of condemning them, Tuvok beams to the surface and makes the exchange himself. He returns to Voyager with the trajector, instructing the engineering team not to attempt to use it until he has spoken with Janeway. Nevertheless, Seska connects the trajector to a console port in engineering so that they can examine it. They discover that the technology relies on a massive crystalline mantle of the planet as an amplifier, and once they depart, the trajector will be useless. As Voyager is about to depart, Torres and Seska activate the trajector. The field forming around the ship produces anti-neutrinos, which cause the warp core to begin to build to a breach. Unable to disengage the trajector from the console, Torres destroys it with a phaser. Janeway is shocked to discover Tuvok, her friend and counsel, was the senior officer involved in the conspiracy. She lets Torres off with a stern warning and asks Tuvok to consult her before acting. And that is all Wikipedia has to say about this episode. The first 1, 2, 3 paragraphs in this article need to be corrected post haste. Bossman, what did you think of the episode? Oh, Cinema Gulp.
Cinema Gulp, hey there, welcome. I actually kind of liked this episode. I thought it was pretty interesting. It was a nice idea. I thought it had some pretty nice dramatic moments. I thought it was pretty overall very interesting. I did think that maybe that it's not a critique. Maybe it was just a little disturbing because they get this chance to possibly go home, and these crewmen let it get the better of them, and then the stuff with Tuvok, that's pretty gut-wrenching stuff between him and Janeway.
Yep,
so
I like this episode too.
I think that makes for the whole idea of the episode. They meet these people that, again, it turns out they were kind of, none of these people not particularly nice. They could have just, they weren't very like, they weren't very Federation. They weren't like the Federation who would help anybody that needs help. Like if someone was stranded in the Alpha Quadrant, Federation would just help them. But these people were not very nice. They're jerks. And it turned out, that the technology didn't work out. But I thought it was kind of a shame. But it's everybody's in the wrong here except for Janeway. And I think the fact that Tuvok did that for her. Thank you, Salty Traveling. Let's see, what does it say? New member for Clobbering Times membership. What do you do? What's it says? Oh, gifted 1 Clobbering Times membership. Thank you, Salty. Hey, Salty Traveling, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you so much for that. I hope you are doing well, my friend.
Good evening, Salty.
Yes, indeed. Hope you're having a great night. Okay. So where were I? Yeah, I found it to be very interesting.
It was crazy because you just said it was crazy because Janeway was the only person who was in the right here.
Yep, she stood, and Tuvok did that. So in the event that it would work, he did. I love his reasoning. There was a logic
super
to it.
Spock.
It was very Spock logic. He was such a friend that he was willing to even alienate her, even go against her. So he would be the one on the, that would basically be the one breaking the rules.
He put on the super Spock cape and flew through the air in the super Spock cape. It was marvelous.
What was interesting about it though is too, remember, or at least for me anyway, the whole time because I've been so long since I've watched it, you may as well say it was my first time seeing it, but maybe it felt like it. But either way, first time seeing this, whenever it was, I'm not so sure what he's up to. When he's nailing the 3 of them on their little conspiracy to steal this thing, I'm thinking that's it. He's busting them. I was sure he was about to bust them. Like,
yep,
we're not. And then he joins them. I'm like,
yep.
Whoa, what a twist! What's he up to? And he realizes, look, we're gonna break a little rule here. We're gonna go against the Prime Directive, but I'm gonna do it so Janeway won't be on the hook for it. And her reaction to it is she was pretty upset about it.
Yep.
And everyone don't give reviews yet. We're almost there.
I got him started, boss.
That got you. So you didn't even do
my notes yet.
Note check. Go for notes. I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to let everyone in the 735 Club, I want to let all clobberers, clobberettes, clobberooskies know that I hate Neelix and I strongly dislike Kess. But it's super important that people understand the depth of how much I hate Neelix and how much I strongly dislike Super Kess. Okay? Other than that, stories as currency. This person who came up with this idea, this is quite lovely because there are two people involved with writing this story, and then it was turned into a teleplay. So I just want to shout out to the story writers, David R. George the third and Eric A. Stillwell. I want to thank you for your beautiful story. I want to thank you for your minds. I want to thank you for what you did for this program because your stories are beautiful. I want to thank the marvelous people who did their job, the corporate style people, the teleplay people, Greg Elliott and Michael Pericone. I don't know. Anyway, a great job in being wonderful teleplay people who adapted a story written by two very talented people, because I think that this whole idea of stories as currency is marvelous and enduring. This is one of those Voyager episodes that stands out. When people say that they hate Voyager, that Voyager is complete trash, that nothing good comes out of it, this is one of those stories that you hold up and you say, what are you talking about? Look at this. And this is a gooder. Stories as currency. This is a marvelous civilization. This is a fresh and new civilization. Feels great to be out in the galaxy, going where no man has gone before. I also really enjoyed this idea of passion winds, which would be a sex breeze. I should have said SEX. SEX breeze. So you go there, and at a certain time, the SEX breeze comes. You get your little satisfaction. The sun rises. Nobody gets spurpies. It's fabulous. I love this whole idea of being on a planet that could cause or have a phenomena in its jungle that would cause euphoria, especially SEXUAL euphoria. Really like this idea. So we have this idea of stories as currency. We have this incredibly alien civilization. We've gone on a new a journey with a new civilization with new aliens. We have passion winds and SEX breeze. And to top it all off, they stand toe to toe with the United Federation of Planets and Starfleet. And they say, hey, look, we have the same rules as you. We're not just giving you our technology. You don't just get to have our technology. I love this. I love this, David R. George III and Eric A. Stillwell. I know their teleplay people were involved here, but I'm not really concerned about that. I love this idea that the Prime Directive would stand toe to toe with an equal directive saying you do not share your technology because you're not sure how it will affect another civilization. I love this. There is one thing that I didn't like about it. Harry says that the stories on Voyager are from dozens of cultures. I actually wrote the F word down on my notes, and then I wrote, huh, in yelling all caps with a giant question mark because I was so peeved off. So Harry feels that Harry has reported that there are dozens of cultures. What? So fewer cultures than there are on Earth? What? This might have been the teleplay people. This should have been caught by Jerry Taylor. Where are the editors here? That should have been taken out. This show, I wrote underneath, this show desperately needs an editor. Somebody needs to be protecting these stories. And when you're pumping out this amount of storytelling in such a short period of time, you need that protection. So that was a failure of the editors here, not a failure of these marvelous story makers. It could have been the failure of the teleplay people, but it's so nice to have some story makers and storytellers here. This is good stuff. That's it.
Well, sorry, I was eating candy. So I'm not sure why the chat decided to start putting the reviews in early. Don't worry, everyone. I've saved your reviews, but if it always helps us if you wait till we give the word. We really appreciate that. So no biggie. Just it helps me big time. So number one, I agree. I really like this episode. This kind of story that I would like to have seen more of. What is your rating for Prime Factors?
Because we are dealing with an alien civilization. We've gone where no man has gone before. And the story that was written by these two marvelous men, I love these guys. I love these passion winds and the quote unquote euphoria breeze. You get the euphoria in your pants. This civilization playing by the same rules and shoves their nose up in the air to Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets. I just love it. I love stories as currency. This is an A. This is an A. Folding space. This is an A.
By the way, Eric had a question for you. He says, how do you feel about Neelix and Kess? Thank you, Eric, by the way.
Okay, Eric, I just want you to know that I have a deep, strong, and lasting hate for Neelix, and I strongly dislike Kess. I dislike Super Kess even more than I dislike regular Kess. And I love you, Eric. Mwah.
Well, yeah, SP4H. Hey there. Good evening. Okay, well, I also give it an A. Especially, and I think a lot of it was due to the bit with what Tuvok does at the end, which I thought was a pretty good surprise. I thought he was going to be complete Vulcan about it and nail the others. And when he joined them, and the reason he did it for Janeway, which really led to a really very tense and very uncomfortable scene between them at the end, I thought that was powerful. I think this is the kind of stuff I want to see on Star Trek. The conversation that was being had. There were two alien races that had their civilizations that had their differences, but they didn't end up in a fight, which is the kind of thing you usually expect. Oh, don't worry about it. Everybody. It's totally fine. I just want to. When I saw those coming through there, but that you're okay. Don't worry. No hard feelings about it. It's cool. Just wanted to let you know that it helps me when you wait for the word, and I'm about to give the word.
The great thing about that too, though,
if you already did it, though, it's fine. Well, we got you. Good.
And the great thing about this too is that it tickles my fancy because I love the fact that it's not only a characterization of Tuvok, but it's a characterization of Tuvok's relationship with Janeway. Because all of a sudden you get this huge rush of emotion when you realize that he has acted the same way Spock would act for Kirk, that he would do what was necessary without even consulting Kirk because it had to be done. And so now all of a sudden you're starting to really like this relationship between Tuvok and Janeway. And you have a little bit more respect for it now because he will do what he feels is logical. And he was very, very Spocky here. It was good. Good. Nanu.
I liked it. But anyway, again, Gwag, I'm saving the ones I just don't. Did I actually say I was giving the word, or when I wasn't giving the word? Because people are still. I don't understand. It's still coming through with reviews. Well, I give it an A. Also, now I'm going to just go ahead and give the word. Please, the word is given now, so you can come through with your reviews. But if you already did it early, no big deal. I saved them, but we just really needed to be on the same page with that because we get so many of these. We don't want to miss anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, that's a good way for us to miss you, because if we, if they slip by us, before, when we haven't given the word yet and we're not looking for them, don't happen to be looking for them, but if you're already giving yours, fine, we got you. Just number one's on it now, right? You're on it.
I am on it, boss.
Okay, we have Michael Beacon's review of the final episode of the evening. Prime Factors by Michael Beacom. He says D. This should be retitled Janeway Fails the WWKD Test. You have crew members going mutinous just because some aliens say they have a magic booster. Janeway is supposed to be a starship captain. Ever meet a female naval officer? Well, they're like any other. They will demand discipline and respect. And woe to he/she whoever fails to give it. She has obviously lost the crew's confidence. Even Tuvok thinks she's not up to the task. This episode should end with everyone involved either in the brig or set adrift in a runabout. Well, you've tried to mutiny, so no dessert for you. Everyone stand in the corner. The writer has not the slightest clue of military discipline. When Garth, I guess, reveals he won't give her the tech, she acts like a jilted girlfriend, not a captain. Wow. All right, dude.
Well, I think that's a little bit of an oversimplification of what happens, but I do respect your review because I think that the writers spend a great deal of time here trying to express the frivolousness of the choice and the decision making and also the deception. So it was kind of expressed at the end of that conversation as though it were some sort of entrapment, as though they were sort of hoping that they would be so enraptured, they would be so enamored with this hedonism that they would stay and then cannibalize their stories and cannibalize their culture and sort of spit them out at the end because, they're always looking for the new thing. So he did lie to her. And I think that a lot of the crew, I wouldn't characterize it as mutinous. I just think that a lot of the crew were trying to figure out if this Gath person was even representing his home world, because there were others in an equal position to him with access to the same technology, and they were willing to give them the technology in exchange for the story. So I do think it's a little bit more complicated than just that. You know what I mean? I think that's why they introduced this idea of hedonism is, when people are only after pleasure, it seems as though they're behaving in a completely illogical way. And in this case, sort of vampiric. These are sort of social and memory vampires, and they're not behaving ethically. And so I think that that's left for the viewer to put together.
T.C. Burton.
Hey!
Hey there, T.C. Burton. Good to see you. Okay, let's see what we have going on here. Start our reviews. Let's get these reviews done here.
Midnight's Oblivion.
Is Midnight's Oblivion here?
Yes.
Hey, Midnight's Oblivion. Good to see you. I hope you are doing well, my friend. It is always great to see you. Okay. All right, where we at? Admiral Teague, the Admiral on the bridge, says A-. This episode starts a long tradition of the show underappreciating Harry Kim. His competence is taken for granted, but we went to a new planet. Gotcha. Not big, so we do have a Harry Kim fan among us. So there we go. Das Wilfen says B-. I kept waiting for the Wesley breaks the box moment, and who would have thought that it was Tuvok to break Janeway's trust? But like most of the times that Tuvok went against regs, he gets away with a slap on the wrist. I can see the logic of what Tuvok did. However, I don't see how giving stories breaks the prime directive for a civilization that has transporter tech. I'm with you.
It just did it again. Damn it!
What happened? Oh, that's right.
When you go to start, it puts it on the marquee instead. It's very annoying.
You're good. So yeah, I'm with you on that one though. I know what you're saying. Anti-derivative Jilly says B+. I appreciate Janeway standing up for principles, but she gives up way too easily. Why is the administrator the only option? Well, he did talk to his other people that work for him. I don't know. He's the only one that'll deal with her. I think, Zill, but I could be wrong. Where is the rest of the planet's government? Well, he won't let her see him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's why those other people stepped forward and said, "No, you can have this technology."
There you go. So, while I was disturbed at the mutiny, they are in a desperate situation that gives credence to the actions of the crew, and the motivations are well established. Yes, I agree with that. Most shocking was Tuvok's actions that I didn't expect. Me either at all, as I hadn't seen it in a while. It reminded me of a Vulcan version of Garak in A Pale Moonlight. Good point.
It
That's very
reminded
good.
me of Spock because I really liked that when they were sitting at the meeting table, um, that he was so open and he just said, like, we don't know anything about this culture. They're very hedonistic. We don't know if this initial reaction is even the true reaction. They may want to be romanced. They may want to be wined and dined. This answer isn't final. Let's explore. And I did like that Tuvok said that because I think I think it's good writing. I just enjoy it.
Indeed, it is. Well, there you go. Wagner says, grade C plus. There are some interesting ideas here, but the execution is lacking. Plus, it features Harry Kim in a significant role, so that does not help at all. Forgot, yeah, Gwag is our resident Harry Kim fan club member. Not. This episode was placed too close to another We Can Get Home episode, and it is hard to take the possibility seriously when it's still mid first season. Gotcha. At least this one has a twist on the sharing an advanced technology storyline, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Okey-dokey.
It's so cool to see that instead of Janeway saying, well, our prime directive doesn't allow us to blah, blah, blah. It was our turn as human beings to get turned down. we were the lesser species here. It was cool.
Yep. Shooter says D. This one annoys me. It is basically Voyager and her crew being hypocrites. They asked for the tech and were denied with a fair reason that the Federation uses itself. Let's see here. Tuvok disappoints me the most, and he got off way too easy. Some disciplinary actions should have been taken, even if it was a restriction of privileges or loss of replicator rations for all involved.
Boss man, I
go,
have
Shooter.
to interrupt,
Yes.
even though it's so rude. Please excuse me. I'm
problem.
so sorry. Jill has to leave, everyone. Everyone, could you please say
Good night,
goodnight
Jilly.
to anti-derivative Jill? Good night, Jilly.
Good night, Jilly. Have
Thank
a
you
good
for
one.
coming.
Good to see you. Thank you as always for being here. J.T. Kirk says C. I know Bangway banged her way to Gav's heart off screen. We don't know that. She has a boyfriend. She has a significant other. Voyager can land. Yes. Turn off everything and transport the ship in whole or in sections. 2, 3, 5. What is all these? I don't know what these numbers are for, but I'll take. Is that your lottery numbers or what? Thank you, J.T. Kirk.
J.T. Kirk.
John Charter from Mars says A for me. I love that they found a unique way to show a human captain and a Vulcan be friends. It had to be hard to not clone the Spock Kirk, but they pulled it off. Yeah. They're a good relationship. I hear you. Thank you, Sean. C plus says the AI show. Optional title: Hack to the Future. Optional song: Back in Crime. Whoa. Another time story. Time? Was it a time story?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No time story.
Tuvok goes rogue. Yeah. The phasers, the wind is coming and blowing in the wind now have vastly different meanings. Thank you, the AI show. Appreciate you. DJ Ronnie
yes,
G.
Yes, they are prime numbers. Yes.
Okay.
Didn't even think about that. Shows you right there that I need a coffee and that Clobby needs a coffee.
No, it wouldn't matter in my case. I wouldn't know what that is. It's numbers. I never got out of this kindergarten. DJ Ronnie G. Well, I did for a few minutes, but they put me right back in. DJ Ronnie G. And that was just a few weeks ago. Let's see. B minus. He says B minus. Janeway's diplomatic efforts were above board, but inadequate. As for Harry, he could have waited until after his hot date before making a big deal about the long-range alien transporter. Paris would have, that's for sure. Thank you so much, DJ.
But I think the answer was blowing in the wind. And I think
was
maybe
blowing
the
in the
wind
wind.
blew a little bit harder than people think.
Yeah,
He did have that little gasp when he was in the wind. The answer, my
Indeed.
friend, is blowing in the wind.
How many? Never mind. Lisa says
Sorry,
A.
everyone.
Lisa says in an A says temptation. Tempted to stay and enjoy, also the temptation to get home faster. Janeway freed herself from staying, and Tuvok did the unethical that she refused. Tuvok is Janeway's rock to depend upon. Indeed. Thank you so much, Lisa.
I don't know how I feel about everyone saying that it was unethical.
Oh, I forgot one of your last one said one of one, DJ, so I didn't get your second one.
DJ Ronnie G.
Yeah, your last one said one of one, my friend. So sorry about that. You got to put the anyway. You know. Beyond that, nobody bothered considering other options when things didn't work. Even then, they would still have 40,000 light years out. Meanwhile, Seska shows her true colors.
Mm-hmm.
More on that later. The great enigmatic drop bear says C+. This skirts dangerously close to, but thankfully avoids Ryza in the Delta Quadrant. It has many, many plot holes, but one of them is gargantuan. Let's see here. Sikaris. Let's see. I said Sikaris's mantle was needed to power the spatial trajector. It was scaled to move people, not a starship. So was never going to be a technology unstable so was never going to be a technology usable for Voyager. Sorry, ED, that's me, not you, of course. Perhaps its accosting could be argued as an act of desperation on the part of the crew, but it beggars belief that the Sicarans would not be aware of the limitation of their own invention. But it beggars belief that Sicarans would not be aware of the limitation of their own invention. Interesting. Exploring the possibility, but the revelation that it was never going to work, and the despair incumbent in that revelation would have been a better approach. Good point. That's well done. Thank you.
I don't know. When I look at that, I just think to myself, well, they would assume that it would be technology they could develop themselves, right?
Indeed, yes. Well, and they gave it a shot. Fanty outside, he says. B. Tuvok was right. Hashtag Tuvok was right. Logic is clear that the cap got them stuck out there. The micro wormhole was a fail. You're gonna disappoint the crew a third time. Remember, they aren't all Starfleet happy crew. Crew and all. Sorry. Okay, I'm fancy. One of two, then he goes 2 of 3. Dude, I thought I was bad with numbers. If as Janeway told the crew in episode 1, we will also find other means to get home. Apparently, Janeway failed negotiations, turning a no into a yes, specifically engage in a little quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. All right. But remember, caveat emptor. Someone may want the stories also. If one guy wanted them go back, there might be someone else. If it's currency, they'd all want it. All right. Thank you, Fantyishness. Guagnar says, "Hey, if it needs the planet to work, how did people get home from the planet they are sent to?" You got me. I just work here.
I think it's okay for folks to let a 40-minute program have a lacuna.
Yeah, I mean, look, but you got me seriously, Gwag. I would.
You could easily say that they had the I don't know, the same technology there. I don't know. I'm just.
It happens. You got me, buddy.
It's just a 40-minute TV show.
And
there's so much other stuff, wonderful, nice stuff happening.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It was entertaining.
Yeah, and I'm not going to pick apart one show. any more than I pick apart another show. I have to pick them apart equally, and this is just a television show. So
It is. Mark Ness is hearing this. Almost done, dude.
Did you just say it's just a TV show? It's just a TV show?
Yeah, it is.
sorry,
Now, let's get through this before you. I can't believe
I didn't say
Keep
get
going.
live.
My
Keep
goodness.
going.
Are you insane? Do you know what you're going to do? Are you insane? I'm just kidding. If you get what I'm saying. You're going to get like 20 minutes of playing around about it being a TV show. All right, are we ready? We're going to knock these out.
Do it.
B-. Tuvok bad, bang my swooning, warp core endangered, tech not given, tantrums abound, and so episode. You know, simply, you gave a review earlier, but you're such a good old veteran here. We'll let you have another one. Kind of guys we are up in here. Linrod. Oh, that's right. Mark D did not watch it. He's incomplete tonight.
Briggs.
Mark.
I've seen it.
We'll deal with him
Well, I would
after these
hope so.
reviews. We'll deal with him after these reviews. A says Linrod, I got to question the logic letting over-friendly space duders onto the ship. When that guy came on the screen, my first thought was to lock phasers. Overly nice duders are super sus. Are you a super? The interactions with the space duders was a bit cringe, but I really liked how I got a deeper feel for who everyone is out of it. Very cool.
Nice.
My main beef is that anybody had even the slightest inkling of patience, they would have had a way better chance of getting home sooner. Had they waited, sure, they would have found that it wouldn't work without the planet. It wouldn't work without the planet, but then they wouldn't have had time to study it instead of blowing it up. Impatient people annoy me to no end.
It's true.
Let's see here. Feels weird that to think that I was totally with Bangway on this one. Perhaps she's getting less crappy as the show goes on. There's hope. Not a Bangway fan, eh?
Yeah.
Cardinal Sin. The $4 super sticker. Thank you, Cardi. Appreciate that, buddy. All right. Thank you, man. I hope you're doing well tonight, brother. Being taken care of out there.
Cardi.
And Joseph Dredd. Here comes the judge. Says C+. Alternative title, Prime Misdirective or Harry Kim's Alien Romance. Gath hails Voyager to let them come to Risa with a 40,000 light-year teleporter. I find it odd that an advanced Civ had little stories or lit. Yeah, that's a good point. Of their own culture. They just wanted new ones, even though they probably would have been disappointed by the ones that they got for the Voyager crew. Didn't like the crew mutiny. How many times does Torius get to break the rules but go unpunished? Also, Tuvok Shakur banging away's best BFF got off way too easy. Thank you, Judge. I understand, Judge. Well, there you go up in here. I guess we've guess that's that.
Yay!
We knocked them all out. Up the park.
Wowzers.
Indeeders. Is something wrong with your mic? Are you at home or what?
Maybe it went to the wrong mic. Hold on.
Yeah, you sound like you're in the bathroom.
Oh, it went to the wrong mic again.
Did you bring us with you on your potty break?
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh,
Is that better? Testing.
Steve has to hit the
still
hizzle.
same.
Gotta hit the hay. Good night, honey.
Good night, Steve. Maddie's daddy, have a good one, buddy. It's no biggie if you're not have the same mic as usual. Say again.
Testing.
There you are. There you go.
It went to the engineers are supposed to change things.
Yeah. Hey, Larry.
Larry, oh my God.
Wowzers.
Larry, dude, that is too kind, too generous, buddy. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna cry, my friend. That's just too good. I'm not worthy of such a thing, but thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Larry. Man, Larry, you are just an extraordinary soul. Thank you. Man, oh man.
He's pretty awesome, hey?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, buddy. And that's so I can look at it in the chat so I can see it. I gotta find it. I can't see it on the StreamYard side, so I have to see if I can. I wish it would show up on the
It
StreamYard
is an
side.
LLAP with a
Well-
smile and a big thumbs up.
Yeah, it's showing it
Okay.
on the stream. Yep.
I'm
Thank you,
not
Larry.
seeing it.
Larry.
It's not showing it on mine though yet. Well, I got to get to it yet.
He
Bye,
says, "You're welcome, Clobby."
Thank you, sir. Thanks. And I know I say thanks a million times. I was on the stream with Eris this morning. Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah. Thank you. And I kept saying I'm sorry like a million times. I said, stop saying that. I said, oh, I'm sorry. But
Because you
There
hang
it
out
is.
with Canadians.
I do.
Sorry.
Oh, Admiral
Oh.
Teague.
I didn't mean that.
Sorry, Admiral Teague has a members chat for 5 months. He's been at the clobberer level. There's a right way, a wrong way, and an insane way. Yes, sir.
And then there's
Yes,
a bang
sir.
way.
And there's a bang way. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you, buddy, for pointing that out there. I just happened to have my eyes on the outer chat for a second there. There we go.
I was
So,
wondering, like, wow, Clobbering Time's got that one quick. The member
I
chat.
happen to be,
Thank you,
yeah,
RK.
happen to be looking there. Again, man, I tell you what, Larry, you're the best, buddy. Thank you so much. You're all amazing.
Larry,
What a
Larry.
night.
Thank you.
Yeah, what a night. We always have so much fun doing this. It was a strange night tonight because usually it's Raquel and I being really brutal to the episodes and all of you being nicer than we are. And tonight, man, it was the other way around. We actually liked more than you guys did, which I think is hilarious, by the way. Don't worry, we're not getting soft.
No, certainly not.
We're
But
going
I
to beat
think-
the crap out of some stuff.
I do think that it's dangerous to fall into a pattern where you hold one iteration of Star Trek to a higher standard than another. And so, I am going to continue to annoy people by saying, when you read on IMDb that an asteroid isn't an M class and can't sustain life, and that they would need to be wearing spacesuits or whatever, it's important that you should also be saying that about Repente, like you were saying earlier, Clobby, and you should also be saying that about Arena. So
Yeah.
I just don't want to hold it to a higher standard. And, so many people say, well, you have to be nice to Deep Space Nine because it's a drama. And so, we said at the outset that if you accept DS9 as a drama and it doesn't have to be hard science fiction, and you're told by everyone in Trekdom not to judge it that way, then you can't do that to Voyager. Voyager is very clearly science fantasy. It's not science fiction. It doesn't have enough science fiction authors working on it. It's a little bit more corporate at this point. It's definitely not the Holy Trinity pumping out amazing science fiction stories. But I just worry about that. Like I said, people are holding it to a higher standard than they would TOS. We're out exploring strange new worlds, seeking out new life forms and new civilizations, boldly going where no man has gone before. And we are having a bit of fun. It's not all perfect, but yeah, I'm going to stay honest.
And we're not stuck on a space station anymore. Prophets and quasi-religious stuff and total drama, The one thing I noticed in these episodes, having not watched these since they originally aired, is how quickly they seem to dissipate the Maquis problem and even the tension in the crew. There's a little of that, but not. It's almost like there's a time. It seems like there's a time jump almost where they're operating as the normal Starfleet crew. But I don't know if you guys caught that or mentioned that.
Well,
before.
that's why I
Was
put
the
that in
show
my
tonight.
notes when it first happened. I think, what did I say when I gave them heck for that? Didn't I say that I gave it a D or an F or something when we dealt with that problem? I just said, like, why are we what's going on with that? That's dumb.
Too fast. Yeah, it was too fast.
And it's not believable. It's just not believable, especially because I cannot stand the B'Elanna character. The B'Elanna character is insufferable and obnoxious and just over the top. And I like
In those first few episodes, yeah. Just,
and I'm glad
so
they toned her
poorly written.
down, but like when you see her and then as soon as they're done pumping the tires of B'Elanna or B'Elanna, which they call her later, then they turn Seska into super psycho. So then, it's like you're going from one super psycho to another, and it's kind of annoying. I don't enjoy it, But when we get out there and we tell a good story written by somebody who actually writes stories, not just corporate teleplay people, but actual story writers, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I enjoy being told stories. Stories are cool. I don't enjoy
and that
corporate
whole
storytelling.
Klingon, she couldn't act, because she's half Klingon. She couldn't, control her emotions. Like, what about the Klingons or Worf? And I think you said those exact same thing, which was,
Yeah.
they should have just made it just her personality. She just had trouble controlling her temper. It wasn't because of her makeup.
Yeah,
That I
General
thought was a big
Martok would have
miss.
knocked her out.
Yeah.
Like, if she would have been acting like that. Like, you can't act violent like that. And like I said during that episode where she assaults Carrie, that's ridiculous. She's, and you gotta wonder what's in the writer's head. I don't know if that was teleplay people who wrote that episode or not. I should check, but that's the thing with this corporate writing that you have to be careful with. Like, what kind of messaging are you sending to your viewership? So a woman can punch a man so hard she nearly kills him, or so they say in the episode. I mean, she's very lucky he didn't punch her back, because what is she, like 4'11"? Like, give me a break. Like, yeah, some of it I don't like, but I'm like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and call BS on Voyager doing the exact same things that happen on TOS. This is, after all, science fiction, right?
But I
And
did
somebody
enjoy
said earlier
this
in the chat,
much
no
more.
true science fiction is ever on film. That's not true at all.
Hey. Oh, by the way, is Zathras still here? We have photos for him.
Yeah. So I'd like to.
Oh, I have to
I got
send you the
approval to
money for
show.
that. Did you send me the
That's
bill?
okay. I'll send you the bill. Don't worry about it, though. No rush. No rush.
Okay.
So I do have the photos from Zathras to show, and he said these were okay to show. So, and then I have one convention photo to show, because I got to meet someone really cool today, and his initials were not JF.
I know.
There was something. So let me.
Yeah, we're gonna get moving in a second, because
I know
we're pretty late. Well,
it's not too long of a show so far, but yeah, I'll be quick.
Easy for you to say. I did a 5+ hour one today.
Well, I got my steps in. God, who said these conventions? You get a lot of exercise. For the first time in a long time, my watch wasn't telling me to get up and do get some movement going.
I'm glad you're wearing it.
I thought we'd have a Neelix fan somewhere. I have to speak up for my man Neelix here. Let's remember the show's outlook, as he is very important. The rest of the crew, especially after the Replicator goes down, as morale officer. And hey, Admiral, that's fine. All opinions are welcome here. I will pass it on to Neelix.
Okay, so what you all folks, what you're seeing is the gift that I sent, and Mark made sure that he conveyed it to the Americans, which is amazing. Here? Because it's very difficult for me to send stuff over the border. And so I send the money to Mark, and then he takes time out of his day to go and order it, receive it, mail it to people. He's pretty cool. This is the gift that we gave for the DS9 series. It is a oversized, I think it's at least, is it about 6 feet?
It's big. I'll show the picture. It's got this funny metric dimensions. I don't know what that means. 150 by 135 by 14 centimeters. I don't know. Some kind of metric beer rating there.
Metric beer rating. Okay. It's a giant raspberry. And it is an air mattress. It is a giant raspberry air mattress.
I think this calls for the Raquel raspberry.
No one does it better.
And so this is what every DS9 viewer should have at home.
So this is Zathras. He's got a picture. He already got it then.
Yes. So I just want everyone in the chat to please thank my marvelous friend Mark for arranging to send that gift in another country when I can't.
Was no trouble at all.
Oh, Mark.
There's no trouble at all.
I love you, man. You're a cool cat. Thanks for that.
And of course,
Zathras, enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, well, Zathras was here earlier. I should have told him.
He was here. Yeah. Crap. Babylon 5 cast picture. That's badass, Zathy.
Yeah.
Love it.
So this
I
is
love that.
this
I
is
love that Jakar bust. That's beautiful.
Yeah, Jakar is
Yeah.
really nice.
I love Jakar. Now he's got. Is that Ivanova? He's got an. I have a Sheridan figure of that.
That does look
Is
like
that supposed to be?
Ivanova.
I have Sheridan, and no, that's not him. And
well,
that'd
there's
be
two
Ivanova.
figures that looks like a bookmark behind there.
Well, that the bookmarks. Yeah, that's Zathras.
Zathras himself. But behind
And
Zathras, who's that figure?
Can't really tell. Is that? Oh, that's Delin. That's Delin. Look at the head. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Look at the hair. The head.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the
Delin.
head. The protruding head.
I think the other one is Ivanova though. Pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
think so too.
I
Yeah,
have.
it
I only
looks-
have a Sheridan. I don't have the Ivanova one.
Let me get these back again. Oh, whenever you,
Michael
I was trying to
Bacon
respond to
made it
Phantom.
home,
and then
mate. Yeah. So very
Great.
cool.
You got to show the girl.
yeah,
Push
here we
it.
go.
There.
Oh
So
my.
this
Oh,
was
nice.
not the girl was not included. Zathras, we apologize.
Sorry, Zathras. We
We
tried.
just said the raspberry.
I tried to
Just the
entice her, but
raspberry.
she said she was busy. Sorry, man. I'll send it over to you. But
So there's the raspberry. So you can see how big
thanks,
the
Cardi.
raspberry is.
thanks, Cardi. He said, yeah, that's Claudia. That's Ivanova, Susan Ivanova.
Look at this. I mean,
So you can see how big the raspberry is. I mean, that's
It's
a huge
good.
raspberry.
I mean, everyone, if you're watching DS9, you should have a raspberry.
Yes.
So we're
Stay
very
tuned
prepared.
to find out what we give away for Voyager.
Yeah.
Is it going to be
Got
lizards?
Plenty of time. Yes. Yes. It's gonna be. Oh, I know.
I'm
it.
not
I already
saying-
know what. I already know what it should be. But that's gonna be Raquel's call. Anyway.
And I do have one picture to show you. I know you want to get
okay.
in there quick.
No, no,
but
no, no.
So
this
I
was-
love this picture.
So let
Go
me
for it.
so I was at let me switch to my headset mic here. So I
Went to a con today.
went to the con. Hopefully this mic is working now, right? It's still working. Let me start cam. So I got
who
to
you
meet
met
Tran
today.
today. Jeffrey
General
Combs, yeah.
The great Jeffrey
Wow.
Combs.
So lucky.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
goodness, that's great.
So it says Mark. I should have told him right, Mark D. That's all right. It said Mark, out of my way, pink skin. Jeffrey Combs, Shran.
Pink skin.
Love it.
I love that guy.
He was
cool,
fun to talk to. So I
I would've
talked
got
to him.
him-
You know, you talked to him for a few minutes. You know, not a long time, but
Was
told
he,
him
did he have pictures of the question around at the sign?
he had the whole table of
That's what
questions.
I would have got him. Oh man, I'd have got him to sign that.
But I saw this. I said, you know, I had to get this. You know, he had himself as from DS9. You know, a bunch of his roles, and I'm like, I got to do Shran because I think this is as good of an actor as I think for. I don't know. I think
he's
that's
brilliant.
His best
I
role.
love Shran. Yeah.
As Shran.
Don't-
I think Shran.
Don't coach it that way. You should be proud of what you just said.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of his finest roles.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm happy you
Amazing.
said that.
Thank you.
I would
yeah.
have got personally just probably would have had to get the question, but if not, it would have been this one. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. And
Or both, maybe.
I told him about the Saturday Night Star Trek show, but I said we're watching Star Trek in order, and I said you're in millions of roles. You know, I was laughing. He's like, I'm in millions. You know, he's a great sense of humor, and of course these guys are there for hours and meeting, you know, so many people.
Yeah.
So often,
You know,
over again, over and over. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, I sympathize with him too. Maybe getting bored. No sign of boredom or, you know, very welcoming. Very, you know, very nice. And, you know,
Nice.
and I said, you know, he's like, I'm not in millions. I'm like, well, I'm like, you're brilliant in you know, especially in
Yeah.
Star Trek. I said, we're watching every show in order, and we're just on Voyager. And I said, we can't wait. You know, eventually we're gonna hit Enterprise, and I wish that show never, you know, had a lot more seasons. He's like, oh, me too. He's like, that was a fun,
That show
fun
deserved
show, but just
178.
yeah, and he was very, very nice. I also met, you know, we'll talk about this on the Geek Grid because this is Saturday Night Star Trek, but I also met the Flash, the original
Nice.
Flash, and I'm having a convention brain lock on John Wesley's ship, and God, he was
John
super
Wesley's ship.
nice. Oh, he was so nice to talk to, so friendly. He was great. Terry
Who
Farrell
would
was
ever
there.
be mean to you? If
Well,
somebody were
I'm not
like
saying that, you know, but he was
somebody
very,
ever tried to be
especially
mean
nice.
to you, I would shin kick them.
Thank you. Terry Farrell was there. I didn't get to talk to her, but Well, she's gorgeous. I mean, she lights up a room from across the way. She's
Aw.
I mean, you could see how I was gonna say, why did you leave in season 6 for Becker? But I didn't.
Don't say that to her.
I know I wouldn't say it. I was just joking. Like, why did you leave season 6?
Because I'm sure she never gets asked that.
Yeah.
She never gets asked that. Yeah. But it was. And Jonathan Frakes was there. His line was a gazillion miles long. So it was just. I was like, maybe I'll try to get. But it's just too long a wait. But Jeffrey Combs wasn't too long, and unfortunately, some of the characters, some of the actors pulled out. Star Trek actors, I guess, there's illnesses or things like that. So the new number 1 was not there, but I recommend him in. But that's not a.
The
We
new
won't get
number
into that.
1 is number 2.
Yeah, number 2. We won't.
Number 2.
And
Don't even.
And Andrew
Robinson.
Robinson,
Oh, cool.
unfortunately, pulled out. He couldn't make it, but he's
Oh.
going to be there next year. So it's like, I wanted to see him. He did such a nice voiceover for you, Clobbering Times, right?
Great
So
guy.
that
Yep.
was-
Thanks to the great Max
yeah.
Redstone. Yeah.
Max Redstone for that. So that was fun. But yeah, everyone was just, it's a smaller con, but it was
Good
a
night,
lot of fun.
Cardi. Cardi
Night,
Sin.
Cardi.
Good night, buddy.
Good night, Cardinal
Gil.
Sin. Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm glad you can.
Yeah, so it was fun.
glad
And
you had a good
the other thing I got, I'll just show this super fast because I know.
No, okay, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, no, good. Okay. Well, I got they have all the, what's fun is going to these smaller booths where they have just knickknacks and things. So that booth was all trading cards, and I got these were like $5. So it was 30 years of Star Trek reflections and some cool trading cards.
Nice.
So gotta send that one to Raquel.
Hey.
Yes, please.
Television. So these are really nice cards. I hadn't seen these before. And look who popped up.
Bird head.
Wow.
Bird head in the pile.
That's strange.
Yeah. So it's
Very
all,
dinky
it's
dink.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Ah,
Yeah.
Clobby.
Do not put my card on the table. I will destroy you, human.
Smilex. Hey.
Hey, Smilex.
I like having my own card.
But these are fun. These are nice cards. Yeah, they're. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty nice for. Wow, these are good. I mean, I haven't gone through these yet. It's the
Were
first
just
time.
giveaways or they were?
No, it was $5 for the set, or.
Oh yeah. Aha! I love that one.
It's a good one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, these are.
Solians.
Oh, look at this.
Oh my.
And even animated.
Mess.
Oh, you gotta watch out for him.
Uh-oh.
He's.
Was it them?
Oh, sell it. Well, I
That
like
wasn't
this.
them.
Is a nice mix of.
Oh wow.
Nurses.
Oh.
Watch
Dang.
your ears.
Watch your ears.
Oh, David Bowie's wife even makes the mix.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we were just
Jill.
talking about her earlier.
Cube. Yep.
Oh,
right.
the Binance.
Binars.
Binars, thank you. Benzonite.
Benzonites.
Unnecessary.
Pray for the drinks.
Carry my luggage.
Mr. Home. Mr. Home. Oh, look.
Mick Fleetwood.
Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I gotta get him to sign that card for me.
That's always my joke in trivia when
Hey.
people are like, who is the only person in
Yeah.
Star Trek to ever star as himself on Star Trek? And I always offer immediately, like very quickly, Mick Fleetwood. And then I quickly correct it. No, Stephen Hawking.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my goodness. Well, can you make any profit out of this card? Or can you sell my card to everyone else? Damn it.
So good.
Ah,
my.
Terry Farrell's self. Morning is
Oh,
very
Terry-
quiet
Hey,
tonight.
there, morning, yo.
The Tusk.
Yeah, Tusk. Yeah.
Mhm.
Love it.
I am
Hunter
Tusk.
of Tusk.
Tusk.
One of the better
Great
DS9
episode.
episodes, yep. Changeling.
Boss man, could you please look
Yes.
at the chat?
Inconceivable. What about it?
Just Larry. That's the way he does his requests.
Ah, inconceivable, Larry. I don't talk like that, do I?
Oh, there we go.
The
Finally,
greatest
Kirk.
captain of all time.
Yeah, look
Oh,
at
the
that guy.
hologram
Love
of
that
us,
guy.
too. There we go. This
I
is a
see.
nice set.
You are the greatest captain of all time, Captain. I like bacon. Oh no, that's not it.
Oh,
Damn it,
look.
Jim. Yay.
These are nice
Aye,
set
Captain.
cards.
The guys look great.
These are
Beautiful
really
cards.
nice.
Oh, hello, beautiful. Oh, that's a rarer
is-
picture of her. That's not a
this
common
is-
picture of her.
This was a
Nice.
deal.
He's watching. Hey,
Yay!
let's see here. Thank you so much, Michael Bacon. You're too kind, buddy. I appreciate you for that. You shouldn't have done that. He says, saw a new book today, Star Trek Villains. I didn't need to open it to know it was crap. Of the characters on the cover was the Gorn. If you're calling the Gorn the villain, you don't know Trek. Something I've always talked about with stuff like that, Michael, was, you know what? There are baddies here and there in Star Trek, but I never considered there to be villains so much. Look, if you want to call Khan as a villain, he's done bad, horrible things. So he is straight up a villain, and some people are. But it's just more complex than that. It's not Pulp Fiction. It's the same of superheroes and supervillains and that sort of thing. So, yeah,
Gee, you think they
I'm with
touched
you.
up that picture a little bit there? Look at Jonathan Fakey Pants. Why is the whites of his eyes so white? Jeez,
He's
what's
looking
going
at
on there?
pizza there.
No, he looks like he used some whitening toothpaste on his eyeballs.
Should have asked him that today if I had the chance. Yep. So it's nice. I guess they did all the crew in order. Yep.
Hi there. Hi.
Uh-oh, the
Shut
next one's gonna get us in trouble.
You.
Why? Oh, shut up, Wesley.
Has everyone voted in the poll yet? Let's see. No, I liked her. I always liked her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's cute.
Oh, here's my favorite.
Yeah.
Hey, broccoli!
Yeah,
Broccoli.
Okay,
Murdoch.
we got 26 votes. So we'll give it a couple more minutes to see who votes in this poll. So if you haven't voted yet, everybody, now's the time. Vote early. Vote early, vote often. Hey. Oh, Brian.
I hope Keiko's in here.
I'm not allowed to vote there. So
Larry says his poll answer is Balana.
oh, you know what, Larry? I forgot to do Balana until it was too late. But you were right. It should have been her. But I decided
What's the poll?
I put a poll up there. Which character do you dislike the most? And
Yeah, I
the
don't like
choices,
Balana.
there was Neelix, Harry, Cass, and Janeway is the one I put up there.
Oh,
I didn't think of Balana until it was too late. I'm sorry. You're right. It should have been Balana, but we'll do it next time.
Number one is
Almost based on-
Neelix. Totally, just get Chicken Man off the screen right now. Completely
How about
useless
Kiko?
character.
Hey, man.
Then
She's not-
definitely
no.
for sure it's
Fucking
Balana
Voyager.
after, and then Super Kess.
Mega Cropper. Hey.
Hey, Mega Cropper.
Hey, Mega Cropper. Kote. His character's
Miles.
working better on the rewatch, I have to say.
Let's see. Khan was front and center, and I'll give them that one. But he says also the Borg. But when I opened it to the villains, were from the films, and DS9 should have been antagonists. Yes, I
Mhm.
mean, I would straight up call guys like Ducat a villain because he's an evil monster. But other people were, like you said, antagonists, and it's just different. It's a different kind of fiction. Now, Neelix, there's a villain right there.
Like, what's wrong with your face? Like,
Oh,
what's going on with your
doesn't-
ears? Your ears are so overdone, and
She
plus
doesn't-
you're Super Kess.
She doesn't bother me that much. I'm sorry. It's Neelix I can't stand.
Yeah. He's just annoying. He's just
And when
too
I think
too
she's-
much.
I think she's actually good when she's with the doctor. I don't mind much.
Yeah.
Party in it forever.
The only thing I think that
Hey.
they should have more people training with the doctor, right? I mean, I know the crew is
Immunity
small, but you would have a few more crew members
Well,
training.
you definitely
as
pick like
backup.
2 or 3 people who took, at least a bachelor's degree in science instead of a toddler from an alien race.
Their excuse was a lot of them
Yeah.
got killed in the first episode, but yeah. Whale
So
probe.
dumb.
Well, you'd have more people. Yeah, Kes could be a helper, but yeah, you would have.
What does God need
Yeah.
with a starship? Shaka.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
I hate this
that
one.
is
The
a
Nexus
fact.
ribbon.
Yeah.
Oh, the worst.
I
the
am
worst.
Kira.
Time
No, you're
travel
not.
worse. So I guess this set is for those looking for it. Star Trek. What is this? Phase 2. Alien. Oh, maybe this is another set. Oh, this is the
No
set.
filth.
I think 30
So there
years
you
of
go.
Star Trek. Yeah,
No
30 years
filth there.
of Star Trek. Yeah.
So there you go.
There you
Good
go.
stuff.
So that's the set. Yeah. So it was nice.
It should
to
be
get the
called
whole
the
set together.
non-filth set.
Yeah,
Star
that's why I
Trek
checked before I bought it.
non-filth.
And I'm not going to show these, but I did get a. I'm not going to pull them out, but I did get a
Hey,
Farscape.
Farscape.
Just kind of Star Trek
Shut
to chase
up.
it.
Farscape.
You want to
cool.
see? You want to see any of those, or?
Oh my God. Can we do those on the Geekery tomorrow night?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, because this is Saturday Night Star Trek.
Yeah.
I did buy a set.
He's going to be doing all of his.
Oh,
Pickups
can you
on the
please set
Geekery.
those aside? Can we look at those tomorrow?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I love Farscape.
He's got. Believe me, he's got all kind of stuff to show from the con. I'll bet. I'll wager.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a lot of
Alright,
pictures.
Okay, buddy. We're gonna start moseying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our number one, our wonderful first officer. Let us see. Why don't you proceed with any closing words that you might have?
Well, thank you so much, boss. I want to thank each and every single person who participated in the chat tonight. Thank you for creating this marvelous conversation. Thank you for helping us to maintain this little mini Star Trek convention every week. We really appreciate all of your reviews, your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas. It's just so much fun to hang out with all of you. And I know I speak for Clobby when I say that, and Mark as well.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of the wrenches for the hard work that they do. Thank you so much for caring for this community and helping to build this community. I want to thank everyone who donated to Clobby's channel and sent him gifts. Clobby is retired, so this little enterprise of his. He doesn't have a comic book store anymore, and so I just appreciate it so much. So thank you to one and all who sent gifts to him, especially Larry. That was so generous and kind, and it is appreciated more than you will ever know. What else do I have to say? I want to thank everyone who watches us afterwards. Maybe you download us and listen to us later. Maybe you just watch it on your phone later. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for subbing. Thank you for being a part of our community, for sharing us on social media, for all the things you do to help build Clobby's channel. I appreciate it so much, and I know so does he. I want to thank all of the people who are currently backing my new book. Corporations want activism and activists. I'm not an activist, and I don't write about activism. I write about science fiction, short stories, science fiction, episodic, and it can be great fun. But because I can't find anyone to market it to, 17 very amazing people stepped forward in this community to back my book. And so I just want to personally thank them. Larry, thank you so much. Tony Stark, thank you so much. Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba and Leslie Pete, Eric K, and my marvelous trusty dusty dog Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, sending my love and warm thoughts to you, healing thoughts to you. Get well soon, my friend. JT Kirk, Dabman and the Dabman Clan, Lord and Lady Thoth, and of course, Rob Altus. Thank you so much for backing my book. I'll be releasing a new story, and I can reveal right now that the story is called Heaven, and it will be released by the end of tonight or tomorrow night. But I've got a new story for you coming for you, folks. The second book is almost complete. I want to thank Mark for everything he does behind the scenes to help Clobby and I. We appreciate you so much, Mark. Please follow Mark on YouTube and on his Patreon. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank Clubby. Clubby, thank you for creating this space for a bunch of nerds and geeks to just hang out and talk about all of these beautiful things. We have made so many warm and wonderful friendships because of you. And I also want to thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for teaching us about the art and publishing of comic books and all these wonderful things that you've studied in your whole life and that you love. You're a pretty remarkable person, and we really appreciate you very much. I love you so much, sweetheart. Thank you for having all of us, for hosting all of us. I know I speak for everyone in the chat when I say, thanks, Captain. We love you. Mwah.
I love you, but Bubba, it's not my birthday. It's not even close, my friend. That was Raquel being ridiculous earlier.
Listen, Bubba Doom is already in on the joke.
Thank you, Bubba. Yeah, but it's not my birthday, though. The people
Yeah, no,
actually
but
think
We
it
can
is.
pretend though. It's your
not even
He's
birthday month.
pretending
So.
now just to bug you
Oh,
about
not
it because
yet.
you said you
No,
didn't
he's
have
not.
a
He
birthday.
heard you, and he's heard you, and he thinks it is because you said it.
No, Bubba Doom
Thank you,
is
Bubba.
in on the joke. Bubba Doom knows exactly what he's
Thank you
doing
for the
to
super
you.
chat, buddy. I appreciate it. But not only is it not my birthday, it's not even in this month.
You
But
should
thank you.
never have said it is in January, February, March, April, May, June, July. You should not have done that.
Oh, but I really don't want people getting the wrong impression that it's now or even close.
They know it's in August. You said it didn't exist at all, so now they're going to bug you, boss.
Thank you, Larry.
Larry, what are you doing, baby?
Appreciate it. I'm trying to find the Larry sticker. Oh, look at that sticker.
Yeah, I got it. I got it for everyone.
No, I got it. I see
It's
it.
a cute. Wait, no, so the chat that so everyone can see it.
Oh, make a
I am-
couple. That's
it's
a
very
very
cute.
kind thing to say. Thank you.
What? I am a proud Leo there. No. We'll see.
Unbelievable, Larry.
But thank you, Larry. Thank you, buddy, and thank you, Bubba Doom. You're too kind, buddy. Again, appreciate that, Larry. You're way too kind, buddy.
Have you
But-
ever just met people who are so wonderful that you're humbled by the experience of being their friends? I often feel that when I'm in this room full of these special and amazing people. I often feel like I don't deserve to have these amazing friendships that we've made here. Larry, you are a spectacular person, and so are many people in the chat. And I thank you all so much for your marvelous company and your generosity and just everything about y'all. Thank you so much, everyone.
I appreciate all of you for that. But if I promise when it gets close to the day, I'll come out and admit it just to keep people from thinking it lasts a whole month. I have one day, and I hate that day, by the way. So,
Bobby!
But it's a great
Hey.
day.
hate my birthday more than you could even conceive of.
You don't like the number?
Hate it. I don't like the age. I don't like that either. No, I always hate the day. I've never had.
All right.
I'm
You
not.
just hate to be recognized or singled out
hate that
for something as
I
silly
wanna
as being
forget about it.
born, which everyone has done.
Yes, that's no.
That's exactly how I feel.
But anyway, we won't get
I
into
still
that now.
I still accept the action figures on that day, though.
No, I don't get any. So. I get a call from we have a thing, our family, my mom and dad will call me at different, my mom and dad will call me and my brothers will call. We call each other on our birthdays. And that's about it. I don't want anything, but
That's the important
Anyway.
stuff.
it's a worthless, stupid day. I've had quite a number of birthdays. I can name like 3 that I remember anything about them. And, and then one of them was like when I was 18. So there you go. Anyway, do you have any closing words, Mark D?
Yes, I shall be quick. Yeah, thank you, Raquel. So nice and so appreciative of the
Yes,
chat and
Michael.
the great group that we have here.
Hey, you know what? We'll do a birthday stream that happens on nobody's birthday, Michael, and we'll talk about bad birthday stories. Sorry, go ahead. Good idea, dude.
Okay.
Anyway, no.
Bad birthdays, yeah.
Go
I
ahead,
hope
Mark.
no one has a bad birthday. Oh, that's all good. But I do prefer ice cream cake for my birthday, not regular cake. But no, I had a great day at Comic-Con today, or Terrificon as it's called in Connecticut. Unfortunately, the Pepe's Pizza clam pizza line was so long.
Oh, gross.
It was so huge that I had to go to Hash House a Go and get fried chicken and waffles tonight. So anyway, we're going to be talking about
Oh, I like chicken and
all the
waffles.
conventions. Yeah, that was good. The convention going on today and all the people I met, very friendly people. It's a smaller con, but not that small. I got to meet Ron Wilson.
Cool.
Got that special annual sign, of course. So we'll be talking all about that on Sunday Night Geekery and have pictures and videos and fun stuff. So it was really cool, cool day up in Connecticut and a lot of fun and great hanging out with
Nice.
you guys tonight. So really appreciate it. So yeah, everyone check out Sunday Night Geekery tomorrow night, 10 p.m. It should be. I might have to move to 10:30. But just watch the chat there. But yeah, thanks for another. Thank you, Clobbering Times. You know, I know you hate taking credit for anything, which is a reflection on how great of a guy you are. So that's why you don't want to get recognized for your birthday. But thank you for creating this space, you and Raquel, and it's always a special Saturday night. You know, it's not Saturday night without Saturday Night Star Trek. So thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for being there, dude. As always, appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Tomorrow night I'll be hanging out with Mark D with us at his geekery, the Sunday Night Geekery. And we're gonna keep it geek up there, but you never know. Sometimes it does turn into Sunday Night Eatery.
It will for a little bit.
Who knows? We'll try to keep it geekery, but it might be eatery. We will see. I hope. And then there's I got to change. Go over here to get rid of that. Thank you, Eric. Anyway, tomorrow, Monday night, I'll be at the great J-Man's channel, hanging out with him and Sean, continuing our reviews of the Legion of Superheroes in chronological order, their whole thing. No one cares but us, but we're having a great time doing it. Then, of course, I'll have a Monday night Mark C. Comics talk after that. And then August will be soon after. The next show I do will be in August, and it'll be Jack Kirby month, King of Comics, celebrated all through the month of August, just like I did last year and every year on Clobbering Times. So looking forward to that. And also there will be, not only will we celebrate Jack's birthday, but we'll there'll be a Saturday night where we'll celebrate Gene Roddenberry's birthday as well. The only birthdays in that month that count. So here we go.
Oh, so you do that instead of a Voyager review? You'll do a Gene Roddenberry.
I don't know how. Maybe not that. We just maybe do something like, I don't know. We'll celebrate them together. I don't know what we'll do. How should I know?
Maybe we could do a theme like, would Gene Roddenberry like this episode?
Yeah,
that could be the way we review it.
Who knows? Will Roddenberry scale it? So shout outs to everyone. Thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. Let's shout out our everyone gets shout out whether they're still here or not, starting with, of course, our fantastic wrenches, the great Eric K., the bronze wrencher, Chris Persia, Vindicated Wrench of the Great Wide North, the Wrench of Iron, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth, long live Avon lives, long live the Legion, J-Man, my great partner in crime on earth, B, and Legionnaire reviewer extraordinaire, Hungry Boy, Master of the Claboni, Steven, Kal-El, Steven the Wrench, Super Wrench, Maddie's Daddy, Thor in Vegas, and Fanty Outsidery, that rascally wrench, and of course our own music, Meister Maximum Redstone. And let's see what else we got up in here. I want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. Wait a minute, I'm having. Where are you? Okay, all right. So our communications officer, whether they're here or not, they get the shout out. Like I said, Anti-Derivative Jill was here. Of course, the great chief engineer, Mark D with a C. FKHC 2005. Raymond Feliciano, Shooter. Bubba Doom 1. Thank you so much for all of that, Bubba Doom. Really appreciate you, my friend. Joseph Dredd, here comes the judge. Simply Steve. Lemon Pie. Wagner. Classic Comics. Linrod. Admiral Teague, Admiral on the Bridge. Let's see here. Parker's Luck. Paul Listro. Sathras. Sandra Feliciano. Lovely Lisa. Claude Selling. Let's see. Anonymous Gamer. DJ Ronnie G. Mark Lerseth. Sean Carter of Mars. Dadman and the Dadman Clan. And they call him Scuba Pete. Enigmatic Drop Bear. Victor Fontaine, The AI Show, Mighty Orbots, Niradanex Bear, Your Muslim Uncle, JT Kirk, Joe Dog, Dalek 451, Brian Hepburn, 6, love you 6, Sander Hammerslag, Touring Machine, Captain Infinity and Beyond. Larry, thank you so much, Larry. We appreciate you, my friend. Keely Chow, roll that tide. Cardinal Sin, Gil, Rob Altus, Perk 130, Michael Beacom, and shout out to Cassandra. Thank you, buddy. Ravenscroft, 82. Das Wolfen, Cinema Gulp, Salty Traveling, buddy. Thank you so much. SP4H. What did I do? I did something wrong. Oh, I had a button wrong. Oh, okay. Also, sorry, buddy. Turn my thing over. TC Burton, Midnight's Oblivion, Smilex, and Mega Cropper, and anyone else who popped in. I hope no one else popped in without me seeing them. Thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your weekend, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Have a great week, and hey, what else is there to say but clobber on, clobberers, and trek on, trekkers. Good night, everybody.
Larry just gifted 5 Clobbering Times of memberships. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Order of businesses before we get out of here. Crease 1984. Thank you for being here. Our poll, by the way, which character do you dislike most? A hands down victory by the great Neelix at 45%. Kess, not too far behind at 30%. And Harry Kim and Captain Janeway tie at 12%. That's out of 33 votes by you wonderful friends out there. I mean, hey, what more do you want than that, huh? Thank you all so much, everybody.
Brain and brain, what is brain?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Neelix, not a decorator.
Get those Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
I just love clobbering time.